He did.
I don't think the Colts are beating L.A., even though they're going to be at home. I don't think the Colts are beating the Rams. I do think the Titans are going to go out and win this game. I think bounce backs are something that they're accustomed to, especially under Vrabel and especially under Tannehill. Since Tannehill took over, they consistently bounce back, and they haven't had a ton of bad games like you saw last week. Last week was a bad game. There's no other way to put it. They've had Cleveland. I guess what was it? 2 years ago was a bad game. They did bounce back. If you go and look at the final score, you may think, okay, it was close. It wasn't. That was in the second half. They were able to try and come back, but it wasn't enough. But they typically respond. And all of the individuals that we've talked about this week that didn't play well in week one, I feel like that they are capable of responding. With Lewan, it's just how healthy is the knee? Is he still going to have that same speed that he's been known to have, or is he still working to work back to that? We'll just have to see. But I think they go into what Lumen Field now, I think is what it's called, and get the dub.
So. I will say this. They didn't really have a stinker last year. I guess the Green Bay one at the end of the year was a stinker. That was a dud.
That Thursday night game against the Colts was –
That was a stinker.
That was a stinker.
Yeah.
Not for the full game.
It wasn't really.
They played some bad halves.
Yeah, they played a bad
some
half.
Some very stinker halves.
Back.
The first half against the Browns was a terrible half.
Yep.
The first half against the Steelers was a terrible half. They kind of had a stinker against the Bengals, you would have to say, but
I mean,
I do think
we're talking about stinker. Like Sunday was a stinker.
That was a new level.
Yeah.
A new level of stinker. That's what I think has to happen this week. Because I think we know that they have pretty good players, especially on offense. So do they look together? Do they look coordinated? That's how you have to start. Can they block some people? If they can, I think they'll make some plays. But if they look discombobulated again, then they could look. Yeah. They could stink it out again. I mean, that's what was just so shocking. They didn't look on the same page at all. You knew there were reasons why, with all of the people that missed all the practices, but with some determination here in this, wake-up call, whatever you want to talk about, I just hope that they're much more focused and together when they come out there on Sunday.
It would be hard to buy that they could actually be worse. I mean, honestly.
Right.
It's virtually impossible for them to go out there, I think, and be worse. I mean, I guess it could happen. Sure, anything is possible. But, I mean, there's really no history to show us under Mike Vrabel that this team could go out and lay. Has there ever been two eggs, like back-to-back eggs? I mean,
no,
stinkers,
I was looking earlier.
Clunkers.
In the Cleveland game I was thinking of, that was last year. That was a stinker. I put that as a stinker.
But they came back and lost by 6.
I know.
They came back. Like, it's a 60-minute game. There's no way a 41-35 game could be deemed a stinker.
They were down 17-0 early. They looked discombobulated all over the place. Kendall Lamb caught a touchdown pass.
He did.
Kendall Lamb caught a touchdown pass. And, yeah, you're right. They did. They came back. But Corey Davis scored the touchdown in the second quarter, so it was 17-7. But then Peoples-Jones had that 75-yard pass from Baker.
Who had a touchdown last night.
Yep. And so that was one. And then Higgins had one. Chubb had one. And so it was 38-7. And then they started to come back in the second half. And so, yeah, I'll give you that they came back. But it's still – if you want to, say that it was a stinker of a first half, I still think that goes towards the whole game because they lost. If they don't have that kind of start – then the outcome is different.
There's no way a game could be deemed a stinker if you come back. Like that's the reason last week is a stinker. Like it was start to finish, never a game. Like, there was no fight at all. True?
True.
None. No fight. That's a stinker. That's a dud. Like a team that's fighting to the end. I don't know how you could say it's a stinker if they're fighting. Like that team had no fight last week. It was never a game. It was never going to be a game. They could have played 4 more quarters. It wasn't going to be a game. I mean, yeah, did they have stinker quarters last year? Did they have a stinker halves last year? Yeah, but did they come back and battle? Yeah. And that I don't know how you could deem that a stinker if you're still fighting. There was no fight last week. That's why I'm saying it would be hard for me to imagine that they come out and lay 2 eggs, back-to-back eggs, which means there would be no fight in Seattle.
Right, which I don't, and I'm trying to look to see since Vrabel's been here.
Has there ever been? I can't. I don't remember back-to-back duds. Maybe
20,
the first
okay,
year,
here we go.
first year?
2018.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go.
2018 in November, they lost 38-10 to the Colts on the road, and then 34-17 the next week to Houston.
That was the Dean Pease, right? Isn't
Yeah.
that when he left the game? That was bad. And then
The next week against Houston.
I don't remember much about that game. Usually Texans games are forgettable.
Yeah. And then they barely beat the Jets the following week at home. But
I mean, the Indy game was a stinker. Was the Houston game a stinker? I don't know if I don't remember much about that game. That was what, the Sunday after Thanksgiving? That game?
Which one?
Remember.
The Indy game?
The Texans game. No, the Indy game was. I remember. I mean, that was the Dean
the
Pease
Houston.
left.
The Texans game was a Monday. It was a Monday night game.
Oh, it was a Monday night game. Okay.
Yeah.
Was that the Luke Stocker 4th and 1 carry?
Oh, you know what? That may be the game.
I think that was the game.
I think that
and they got blown.
Right.
They got blown out. Eventually.
Yeah. So maybe that one that qualifies.
I think, like, overall, I think it's fair to say we would agree.
Jared's listening and says it was the Luke Stocker game.
Yeah. I think it's fair to say that Mike Vrabel gets high marks for the most part in having his team ready to play and minimizing what we're defining as a stinker, or at least for a half. The thing I'm concerned about, though, is Daunic.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And the offensive line issues, the coordination of their meal ticket. Their meal ticket is their offense. It's got to carry them. And if the meal ticket all of a sudden isn't what it's supposed to be,
trouble.
They're going to lose. You're not going to beat Seattle unless you hang some points up there. You're just not going to shut them down with the defense that they have against that talent. With Metcalf and Russell Wilson and all those guys, they're going to score. So the offense has to get it together and carry the team. And after all of the issues last week, can they clean them all up with a brand-new offensive coordinator? That's where I have more questions. I think you're going to see much more emotion and fire and be ready to play, all of that. But it's going to have to be together on offense because they're going to need a great effort.
My hope is that Downing and Tannehill get on the same page because I didn't feel like they were. And, whether that's first game and, like we've talked about, Tannehill was out with COVID. They missed some valuable time working together, but they got to get on the same page because, yes, everybody's going to say, well, it starts with Henry. You got to get Henry going. But really it starts with the quarterback. I mean, the quarterback has to be in sync with everybody. And that's what you're going to be looking for early on, whether they hand the ball off on the first play or he's trying to throw it on the first play. It's really all going to start with 17 and whether he can be the field general, game manager, however you want to put it, in this offense, like he has been with Arthur Smith. I mean, this is where you're really going to, as we've said, where you're really going to find out what Tannehill is. He looked really, really good with Arthur Smith. They were on the same page from the very beginning, and it clicked. Can he do the same with Todd Downing? That's really what it's going to boil down to.
So far, the bettors do not think the Titans are going to respond because the line is going up. It's been going all Seattle's way. It started off at, 5? Now it's up to 6.5. So far, the bettors, whether it's the sharps or the public, they seem to be going Seattle way because it's up to 6.5. I don't think it'll get any higher. I don't think it'll get to that 7.
There's also some – I don't know if it has anything to do with it, but there are some interesting names coming and going on the limited and full participation on the Titans injury chart. And it's hard to know if it's kind of the old school Jeff Fisher, Floyd Reese, put everybody on there, strength in numbers, list them all as questionable, and, so you can't really get a read on who's really hurting and who's not.
Yeah.
But Bud Dupree missed a practice. They're getting
here,
Reynolds back.
I got it right here
Go
for
ahead.
yesterday.
Yeah, because there's guys added to the list on here.
Dupree was limited yesterday. AJ
So
Brown.
That's a huge thing. Is he already hurting? What's the story with him? Like, there's a
well,
lot
I mean,
of.
it's-
If you're a worrywart, you got to be worried.
He's coming back.
There's a lot of reasons you can list as to why a worrywart would worry.
Who are the two guys that concerned you the most with their play last Sunday? Two guys coming off ACL.
Sure.
Right?
And look, Lawan is not on the injury list. He's not listed. So Dupree was limited. AJ Brown was a full. Ferkser has been limited the last 2 days. Landry was limited on Wednesday, full yesterday. David Long was limited on Wednesday, did not practice on Thursday.
That's not a
Caleb
good sign.
Farley did not practice on Thursday after being full on Wednesday. And then Chris Jackson, Josh Reynolds, Derek Roberson were full both days.
Well, today is
we know
the
Hooker
gauge.
too. We know Hooker.
Well, he's on IR.
He's out.
He's out.
Well, I'm saying reasons why the line
Sure.
may have gone from 5 to 6.5. I just don't know if there's any mystery in there as to.
I don't
why
think
that
guys
happens.
missing a Wednesday practice or Thursday practice moves the line. Today is the gauge. Who's out there today and who's not out there today is the real gauge.
It's a big one.
If you're going to be judging practice on where you're going to put your money on Sunday, then you're watching today very closely.
Yep.
By the way, Joe Dolan, who we have on all the time, great fantasy guy, fantasy guru, he said, listen to this stat. He tweeted out, Christian Kirk has 14 NFL touchdowns in his career. 9 of those have come in multi-TD games. So, in other words, he's feast or famine. Here's a little fantasy tip. They host the Vikings this week. I wouldn't play Christian Kirk if I were you. Because that just says he comes in bundles. He comes in bunches, and he just had his bunches, so probably take a couple weeks off.
Smells like regression to me.
It smells a lot like regression, and it doesn't smell good if you've got him on your active fantasy roster. We'll come back. We'll start hour number 2. Big Joe on the go. We do that next.
Take us wherever you may go. There is going to be a whole lot of work going on. Tune us in anywhere, anytime.
I think he has some big play in him.
Just search The Game Nashville in your app store and download today. And keep it locked on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
electronicexpress.com. We make it happen.
Hey, Sounds fans, Jeff Hem here with you in Gwinnett County, Georgia, with your Nashville Sounds update on ESPN Nashville. Game 3 in a 5-game series tonight for the Sounds and the Stripers, and the Sounds took Game 2 last night 1-0. David Dow drove in the game's only run in the third, and Luke Barker polished off the shutout in the ninth. The 1-2 pitch on the way. Franco strikes out swinging. Luke Barker saves it in the ninth with a 1-2-3, and the Sounds win. A 1-0 victory in Gwinnett as Colin Ray, Hobie Milner, Chad Sabatka, and Luke Barker twirl a 1-0 shutout over the Stripers. Colin Ray got his third consecutive win. The Sounds beat Gwinnett 1-0, and Ethan Small is on the bump tonight in Game 3, 6:05 Central Time first pitch on ESPN 94.9. This is Jeff Hem with your Nashville Sounds update on ESPN Nashville.
Biggest game this Sunday, Chiefs-Ravens, and FanDuel Sportsbook is about to make it even bigger. Hey, everybody, Joe Rex showed here to let you know that FanDuel is giving new customers 30-1 odds on either of those teams to win. That means you can end the weekend right by winning $150 on a $5 bet. Look, I'm big on the Chiefs. I know that that's kind of cliche, but they bounced back against the Browns. The Ravens are really banged up. I like the Chiefs. You do what you want. Just make sure you do it on the #1 rated sportsbook app in America. FanDuel Sportsbook, easy to use, safe and secure. Fast payouts. It's betting made simple. See for yourself why it's America's #1 sportsbook. Sign up with promo code JOE102 this Sunday before the Chiefs take on the Ravens. You could win $150 on a $5 bet. Remember, promo code JOE102 so they know I sent you. Exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $150. Bonus for Tennessee users fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789.
Football is here, Titans fans. With 5 locations throughout Middle Tennessee, it's easy to find the perfect corner pub to meet up with friends and family to cheer on your favorite team. Head downtown to watch your Tennessee Titans play on the 50-foot LED screen, or brunch it up next Sunday in Cool Spring with Jared and friends live on location. Stop in any location for game day food and drink specials. Corner Pub, your local family-friendly sports bar in Brentwood, downtown Nashville, Bellevue, Cool Springs, and Franklin. The neighborhood meets at the corner.
It's back, the world's biggest spa sale at Family Leisure.
How do you know it's the world's biggest spa sale?
Well, it has to be. It is sponsored by Artesian, American Select, and Strong Spas. Those are some of the biggest brands, and it's at 12 Family Leisure locations across the country.
That is pretty big, but
there's more than 700 spas in stock and incoming at the Family Leisure stores, and many more display model spas at liquidation prices. Spa prices start as low as $39.99. It's the world's biggest spa sale at Family Leisure. Both locations, Franklin and Antioch.
Where family and fun come together. Hey, it's Jared Stillman. Guys, are you tired of feeling old? You know that feeling. You don't have any energy. You're gaining pounds. Well, guess what? My friends at Invigorate Health are the ones to help you. They don't just focus on one area of the aging body. They take care of all of it with so many different therapies that can restore your vitality and are designed with you specifically in mind. So give them a try. Invigorate Health if you want to feel young again. Out in Mount Juliet at 615-288-4777 or invigoratehealthtn.com.
Nashville's best sports talk, locally owned, home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT-FM Pegram, 97.5 Murfreesboro, WBUZ HD2 Laverne, online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
102.5 The Game. Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's time for Darren, Daunic, and Chase. With hosts Darren McFarland, Willie Daunic, and Chase McCabe. On Nashville's best sports talk,
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
Second hour, Darren, Daunic, and Chase here on this Friday. Hope everybody's having a great day thus far. Darren McFarland, Willie Daunic, Chase McCabe with you. You just made the list coming up at high noon. Tell us who or what has made you mad. And, of course, you just made the list, always presented by TriStar Moving. He has not made us mad. He is not on the list. He's Big Joe on the go. Joe Dubin now joins us like he does every Friday at 11 o'clock. Joe, thanks for joining us. If you're looking for a place to get high school scores tonight around the Mid-State, where should people go?
Hey, Darren. Yeah, my man. Main Street Preps, also on Twitter, just Main Street Preps. Just go there. All the scores and stories will be there tonight. Week 5 of high school football, so appreciate me and those guys. They do a great job. So Main Street Preps will be out and about all over Middle Tennessee tonight, and just follow them on Twitter for the latest scores and stories, my man.
Have you felt like that people are catching on, and are you guys seeing more and more activity, I guess, with every week that goes by, more and more people seeking out, looking for those scores, looking for that information?
You know, it's funny. The first couple of weeks of high school football, you're still in August. There's a lot of moving pieces going on. But after Labor Day, we all do this. I mean, it's kind of like, all right, now there's little kind of twinge of fall in the air a little bit, and you see the uptick in people going there getting scores. So it's always good. It's always to have a place to go get those. You know, I did the game blitz with Chase years ago. People just wanted scores. I mean, that was the main. They wanted scores as quickly as they could get them. So to have that opportunity at Main Street Preps is fantastic. So, yeah, you're seeing the uptick in people doing that because, you know, now we're in week 5. Now we're rolling into it. We're at the halfway point almost tonight, so it's a good thing.
How about the scene last night at Nissan Stadium, huh, for Waverly and White House? Really, really cool scene last night. Over 6,000 people in attendance? Is that right?
6,000 people attended. You know, great job by Mike Keith and Dave McGinnis for announcing that game on the radio. I mean, there's a lot of factors that were involved in that. It just showed a lot of people that we care about Waverly. We care about high school football. We care about these kids and to have that environment. You know, what it leads into, Darren, is that it'd be great if every Thursday they could do a high school football game. I know it's impossible to do that, but it'd be nice if they would do several times a year to do that and have a high school go over there that, enjoy that experience. The kids enjoy that experience. So there's not enough congratulations and thank yous to go around to Waverly and for the Titans for what they did last night.
You're right about that, Joe. I mean, you know this. Those kids last night, they will never forget that experience. I mean, especially on the Waverly side, all that they've already been through, they'll never forget last night's experience. They'll take that with them the rest of their life.
You're exactly right, and that leads to this. When the Titans used to do that practice at Centennial High School on the lights on Friday night, you'd go in the locker room, and, if they get the same questions every time, we got to play better, and we got to look at the film. But you ask these NFL players about the greatest game they played on a Friday night, you can't get them to shut up. I mean, they'll talk all day long.
That is a great point.
You're right about that.
They'll talk all night long about, I remember we played this team, and their best player was out, and I did this. And they'll go on and on. And I love hearing their perspective because these are NFL players, but yet Friday night is still inside of them so much that they love. And so it's almost like, hey, I spent 12 minutes with you. I got to go to the next guy now and move on. So anytime you talk to those guys, talk to those guys about high school football and their glory days, they'll go all day, which is really cool.
No doubt about it. So give us a game or two we need to be paying close attention to tonight.
Well, there's a big game up in Gallatin. I'll talk Gallatin each week. They host Hendersonville, and it's a big 6A, Region 5 game because it's a rival. It's Sumner County, and Gallatin's 1-0 in the region. Hendersonville's 1-0. So the winner kind of gets the upper hand there, and that game's going to be absolutely packed tonight at Gallatin. So that's a big game, Hendersonville and Gallatin. Gallatin's 1-2 overall, but it's the region that matters. You can lose every game outside the region. As long as you do good in the region, that's how you get to the playoff. That's a big game. Another game down in Murfreesboro. We talked last week about Kelly Holcomb and Riverdale. Rockville goes to Riverdale. Both teams are unbeaten. Riverdale's 4-0, Rockville 3-0. Riverdale's only given up 6 points a game. Rockville has yet to see a team like Riverdale tonight. So, look, they're really close down in Rutherford County. You guys know this. That should be a great crowd as well for everybody going down there tonight. Another game that's in town, which is not a big rivalry game, but it is now because they're in the same region together. But Green Hill High School goes to Hillsboro. Hillsboro's having a terrible year, but they're only 0-1 in the region. Green Hill is 1-0. If Hillsboro can knock off Green Hill, that'll give them a win in the region, and that'll be a big game for Hillsboro. They lose that game tonight. They go 0-2. Green Hill's 2-0. There's a lot of ramifications for that game. But those are 3 games tonight that I think are standing out across our area.
Joe Dubin is with us. We're talking some high school football, hyping it up for a Friday night here. Joe, we were talking a lot about Marcel Reed. He's a tremendous player, and he is going places for sure. But why do you think NBA is struggling as much as they are? I know they're playing some really tough teams.
That's a great question because you saw in the first game against Ravenwood, and they just really put it to Ravenwood. And now they've kind of get into the flow of playing region and other games. I don't have any idea. And that's the thing. You saw them game 1, and Marcel is a heck of a quarterback, heck of an athlete, one of the top players in the country as a junior. And now they're 1-3. They take on Ryan tonight. Is it 3-1? But again, it's a region game. So if NBA can knock off Ryan tonight, well, they've got to win in the region. That puts Ryan at 0-2. That game is at NBA tonight. So there's not a lot lost right now if you can still do this and you lose a couple here and there. But you got to win those region games. So for NBA tonight, I know they've had a rough time. They're 1-2 outside the region. But if they can win tonight over Ryan, then they're looking pretty good. But that's a great question, Willie, because after we saw them in the first week, I know Pearl Cone came over there the next week. Pearl Cone's an outstanding football team. They beat NBA, so maybe NBA gets back on track tonight as they host Ryan over at Tommy Owen Field off of West End.
Joe, I was going to ask you, you were mentioning that Hillsboro has had a little struggle here. Pearl Cone might be the answer here. You just talked about their great win against NBA, but I was going to ask you, who do you think the best Metro team is right now?
It's got to be Pearl Cone, Willie. I mean, they're 4-0. They're 2-0 in the region. They take on Lawrence County tonight. They should win that easily. And Tony Bernetti, every single year, has just turned out a great program. But here's the key this year. they have moved up, right? So Proco has moved up to Class 4. That means if they make it to the state championship, they do not have to play Alcoa. So they're up now, and Alcoa has won so many state championships with Gary Rankin. Now that Proco's in 4A, there's a little light at the end of the tunnel. There's still a lot of good teams in 4A, but they're not facing Alcoa if they get it that far. But you look at that program, Barry and Brown over there is an outstanding player, and every year Tony Bernetti does an outstanding job of getting those guys ready and playing football. And I just wish more people would support that school over there, especially on Friday nights, because there's a lot of great kids doing great things. That's a great school in Metro.
Joe Dubin is with us. Mainstream Preps is the place to go to get all the high school football action. Battle of the Woods tonight, Ravenwood and Brentwood. Looking forward to this one because it's always a fun battle.
Yeah, it is. Again, here's the theme. It's another region battle going on tonight with Ravenwood and Brentwood. Brentwood's 1-3, but a great chance to get back in things if they can knock off Ravenwood. And this, every single year, and Chase, you remember this when we did the show, this game is just fantastic. And, if there was a betting odds on high school, and I'm sure there is somewhere, but I hope there's not, I think this game is always a pick-em, no matter if Ravenwood's 4-0 or Brentwood's 0-4 or vice versa, because you got these kids who all grew up together, and now they played youth sports together, and they know each other, and it's all that pride that goes on. And they see each other at the mall and at Costco, wherever those kids hang out in Williamson County. So this is a big game tonight. Ravenwood has put out a lot of players throughout the year that have gone to college. So has Brentwood. And you remember, Brentwood played for the state championship last year at 6A. They got beat by Oakland. So they've started out kind of rough this year. But again, if they get a win over their rival, and the same goes for Ravenwood, then you're looking good in the region. It's all about the region play tonight.
Yeah, and speaking of a region, I look at Division II, AA, that middle region, CPA, Davidson Academy, Lipscomb Academy, all undefeated right now. And it's going to set up. I mean, obviously a lot can happen between now and then, but it's going to set up for CPA there to end their season. They're at Lipscomb, and then they're at Davidson Academy in the last 2 weeks. I mean, we saw that great championship game between CPA and Lipscomb last year. I feel like one of those three teams, I mean, one of them's going all the way.
Yeah, Davis Academy's got a good test tonight. They take on BGA. Davis Academy's 4-0. They have won 28 straight football games, what my crack research staff tells me. So that's a big game. It's probably the biggest game they've played since they moved up to the bigger division. But that's a program and a head coach, Jonathan Quinn, that knows how to win football games. And they're 4-0. And, again, Jonathan Quinn, McGavick guy, so he's a winner going in there. But they've also got one of the best defensive ends in the state in Kendall Ball, who just pins his ears back and goes after the quarterback. And, high school, college, or football, if you've got a dominating defensive end, that right there can wreck any game plan an offense throws at you. So having Kendall Ball for Davidson Academy, that's a big thing. But you're right. Davidson Academy 4-0, BGA 2-2. That game is at BGA tonight. So that's another football game. If you want to see some great kids, great programs, go there. But it's a test for Davidson Academy tonight. They get through this, and, of course, then CPA and Lipscomb waiting down the pike. And, of course, I don't want to fast forward, but the next Thursday night, Lipscomb travels to Oakland to play a football game. And I think we've all been wanting to see that for a long, long time. And kudos to Dilfer, kudos to Kevin Creasy, the head coach at Oakland, and all the ADs for putting that game together. But if you want to see a game next Thursday night, high school football, with so much major college talent on the field, that is your game next Thursday night.
That should be at Nissan Stadium.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt about that. But you talk about Trent Dilfer, and we've, this is, I think, year 3 for him now at Lipscomb. I mean, this is the perfect opportunity to play a team like Oakland now that he's had time to build the culture, to build the pipeline up. It's not just the high school. I mean, we've talked about that. You got to build that pipeline, whether it's the middle school there at Lipscomb or like a school in the same area as one of these public high schools. I think this is really going to be a cool test to see what Lipscomb has going up against a buzzsaw like Oakland.
Absolutely. It's still private, versus public battle. And so there's a lot of ramifications for this game. Hypothetically, if Lipscomb goes down there and gets blown out, it's like, well, you can't keep up with the big boys, and the Oakland and the 6As will always do this. But you go down there and you win the game, Lipscomb does, and you're like, all right, now we're paying attention. We were paying attention before, but now we're really paying attention what's going on with Lipscomb and these private schools and the athletes they got over there, what's going on. So there's going to be a lot of people who are interested in this football game just because of those parameters with the public-private. You see what Dilfer's done. You see what Creasy's done. They were state championships in Oakland, the players they turned out, the players Lipscomb's now turning out. There's a lot going into this game on Thursday night, and there should be a huge crowd. And, again, that's why I go back and say I am so glad they're playing these games because, Chase, you remember back in the day on the Game Blitz, we would always ask ourselves, hey, why isn't Team A playing Team B when they're so close to each other, even though they're not in the same region? It's like, oh, well, we couldn't get it together in the schedule. I mean, all the excuses were out there. Next Thursday night, there are no more excuses as Lipscomb takes on Oakland. And that might be one of the best football games we've seen in this area in years.
Joe, as we wrap this up, we had to start off the week with some tough news. We had lost Dave Hull, and a guy that we worked with, the guy you worked with. In fact, I was going through, and I found a picture of me, you, B-Hop, and Dave Hull out at the Smyrna airport. If you remember this.
Oh, yeah.
And he went up in that, the Red Baron or whatever that red plane was, that little plane that the three of us said, no, we're out. Dave, you can do it. And Dave did it. And we stood out there and watched and laughed. I'll never forget that morning after the show, going out to Smyrna Airport with the incredible Hull, and he's the one that we put in that prop plane and made him go up and do tricks and try to get him sick.
I took that picture.
That was back in, it was like 9 years ago. I remember, and I'm going to miss him. He was just a great guy. And that day we put him in the plane, I wasn't going to go because I'm scared. And I said, hey, Paul, you're the only one that meets the height requirements because you're only 5 feet tall. We were kidding with him, and then so we put him in the plane. And he's like, man, that was the greatest thing I've ever done. I was like, see, I'm a big sissy. I'm not going to do that. But a real quick Hall story one day. We were taping a commercial in the studio in the morning after the show was over with, and he forgot to turn the live button off. So we're taping a commercial that was going out on the air, right? And so thankfully, it took us like 30 takes. I didn't cuss, thank the Lord. And then a former boss comes running in the control room and says, y'all are on the air, y'all on the air. And he pressed the take us off the air, but we're off like 5 minutes doing a commercial. And our friend Jeremy said, Dave, what were you doing? And then Hall said, well, what do you want me to do about it now? And I was like, man, that's the greatest answer. Just own it and take it and like, hey, I messed up. I can't do anything about it now. And it was fantastic. And so getting the news the other night that he passed away, man, I was just crushed and devastated because that man meant so much to all of us at Cromwell Radio, not just on the game, but at the Buzz. And my heart breaks, for his family, and I'll miss him. We talked about once a week, and I'll miss him as a lot of other people will. So it's a tough week for a lot of people.
Well, that's not the first time Hot Mike has ever been caught. I mean, the fact that you guys didn't say anything with the mic on going out over the air is pretty darn impressive because we know that can go south in a hurry. We've seen many examples of it going south in a hurry.
Yep.
Wow. Good stuff. Hey, thanks for the visit as always. We'll be checking out Main Street tonight, and we'll talk to you next Friday. Have a good weekend.
All right, thanks, boys. Always a pleasure.
Big Joe on the go, Joe Dubin, telling us which games you need to be paying close attention to, and, of course, you need to make sure you check out Main Street Preps tonight for all those scores here around the Mid-State. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more on the other side as you listen to Darren, Daunic, and Chase. But first, I'm going to talk to you about Week 1 being over. We know that. We've already started Week 2 last night in exciting fashion as Washington beat the Giants. So we know Week 2 is getting cranked up, and you need to get to DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NFL. To kick off Week 2, DraftKings is giving all new customers a can't-miss offer. So listen up. All you have to do is bet $1 on any football game this week, and receive $200 in free bets instantly, no matter what. That's right. DraftKings Sportsbook is giving all new customers $200 in free bets instantly when you bet at least $1 on a football game. Any football game. DraftKings is safe, reliable, and secure, making it easy for you to deposit and withdraw your money at your convenience. All you have to do is download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use that promo code 1025GAME to receive $200 in free bets when you place just a $1 bet on any football game. That promo code, again, you need to use 1025GAME to get your $200 in free bets instantly. That's this week at DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NFL. You must be 21 years of age or older, Tennessee only. Restrictions do apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789.
Can Derrick Henry and the Titans get into the win column?
Wilson fires downfield. Lockett. He's got it. Touchdown.
Or will the defense continue to get exposed when they face Russell Wilson? Tune in all day Monday for full reaction to Titans Seahawks.
Talking Titans?
We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
It's soccer season in Tennessee. You want goals?
He takes it inside, outside, right foot. Great finish. What a goal.
You want saves?
Lifted high, into the hands of Joe Willis. He makes the catch.
You want big drama?
Hooked in and headed in. Delirium. It's Yonder Cadiz.
Nashville SC are back at home Wednesday, September 29th versus Orlando City SC. The action kicks off at 7:30 p.m. Tickets on sale now at NashvilleSC.com.
How'd you like that?
Your home value is way up this year, and with mortgage rates back to all-time lows, it's a great time to call Loan Pronto. Refinance now and get cash out of your home's equity. Hey, it's Willie Daunic. Loan Pronto can refinance your loan at a super low rate. They can pay the closing costs for you and get you a bunch of cash out. How does $40,000 or $50,000 sound? Don't just sit on that home's new value. Use it. Use it to pay off credit cards. Use it to consolidate other debt. Get rid of PMI. Use IT to make your home even more valuable with that home improvement project you've been dreaming about. Loan Pronto's all-digital platform makes it fast and easy. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call Loan Pronto now, 615-499-5780, or go to loanpronto.com. Ask about the Loan Pronto zero-cost cash-out refi. LoanPronto.com, 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. Zero cost option not available on all loans.
Bode Nashville puts you in a chic and stylish downtown Nashville hotel. Walking distance to some of Music City's most popular spots. Working with local partners, they introduce you to the city, its craft, and its tastes. From their porch coffee and marketplace, serving local coffee from Stay Golden, to their in-house cocktail bar, Sidebar. Bode Nashville is a perfect spot for your pregame or nightcap and citywide adventure in between. Connect to Music City, its culture, its craft, and each other at Bode Nashville at 401 2nd Avenue South in Sobro.
Here they come, turn 4.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe. Every Saturday morning at 9, we hit the big topics. The Ally 400, Kyle Busch, frustrated, Big Machine Music City Grand Prix, and talk to the big names.
I'll go ahead and blame you.
Oh, I think it's big.
Could go a lot of different directions right now.
I was so impressed.
How cool that's going to be.
It's Chasing Checkers, Saturday morning at 9 on ESPN 1025 The Game and wherever you get your podcast.
Hey, Nashville, it's Mike Greenberg, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 1025 The Game.
Oh, yeah. Join us in partnering with Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's Light the Night. Light the Night brings light to the darkness of cancer through hope, research, and support for patients and families. Through this inspirational nationwide movement, we're going to try to raise awareness and funding for groundbreaking research and treatment options to eliminate cancer. Nashville's Light the Night will be virtual and take place on November 4th. Learn more about lightthenight.org/TN. That's where you need to go. lightthenight.org/TN. Back here on Darren, Daunic, and Chase, presented by Curation CBD. Curation CBD products curated for life. Another big sports weekend. Find out. Nothing really on the Vols plate. They'll roll Tennessee Tech. Tennessee Tech is not good. Vanderbilt's got an interesting one here against Stanford Saturday night. Can they keep things going in the right direction after beating Colorado State on the road? But Stanford, can they keep it going in the right direction after beating USC on the road? So one of them is going to string together a couple of wins in a row and a couple of wins that'll be probably pretty significant moving forward. And can the Titans get back to 1-1? Can they get to 500? Because the Colts have a tricky one. They host the Rams, and they could lose. Titans could get a win. That would be big. Or if they lose, we could be talking about 2 0-2 teams at Nissan Stadium into Week 3. And wouldn't that be something? Because that is not a hole you want to dig out of, because one of them is going to be 0-3. So pretty interesting. And, we talked with Richard Deitch yesterday about Hard Knocks and relaxing the rules and what's the best thing moving forward. I said it. I watch them every year. I'm a huge fan, and said this year was the biggest dud year they had in Hard Knocks. It bored me from start to finish. It had maybe one thing here, one thing there that was nice, but it was barely even an appetizer for 5 episodes. Then they come out with the announcement that they're going to have an in-season Hard Knocks this year with the Indianapolis Colts. Speaking of, that'll be, I think their first episode is November 1st. I believe that's right.
I thought it was like the 17th. I thought it was later. Maybe
is
you're
it?
Right.
We'll look that up.
I'm looking at November 17th.
But I think
November
I think that's what
November.
this needs. I think that's what this whole thing needs is let's move forward to the regular season. It'll get much. Now, I do think there'll be a certain amount gets lost in the shuffle because we're sort of desperate to have something to watch during those preseason weeks when we're just waiting for the real season to start. So it's going to be it's going to be something to watch for. How many people watch it during the season when you got your own team that you're following? They got games. There's other games going on. But I think people will watch it. And, of course, here we're very curious what's going on in Indy. We always are. That's a main rival, always has been. So I think that will be something that will be on our radar for sure. Another thing that Richard reported yesterday that I think is good news too is Gus Johnson is coming back to the NFL. Gus Johnson is going to be calling NFL games with Aqib Talib.
Oh, is he
in
really?
weeks 2, 3, and 4, and probably some later in the season. Sign me up if Gus Johnson is doing a game with anybody. He adds excitement and charisma. I really like when he calls a game. I think this is a good move for Fox. So I'm looking forward to it. This week he's got Vikings Cardinals. I wonder, I don't know if he's been assigned to any other games going forward here, but I'm just glad that Gus is back in the spotlight a little bit here.
I long for the days that he'll be doing the NCAA tournament again, but I don't know if that'll ever happen.
See, that's the thing. We lose Gus there.
I know, but that's cool. That's awesome that he's going to do that. As for Hard Knocks, I love this. I mean, I'll be watching it. I think I'm shocked that they got teams to do this.
Well, it's not.
They got 18.
You've heard me say this before. There's a lot of times when work asks you a question, they're not really asking.
I know,
Yeah,
but
the
still,
NFL was asking, they're not really asking.
So with that said, I'm curious to see. Like, we all know that the Hard Knocks in the training camp, they cut some stuff out. You don't see everything. You get an inside look, but you know that those teams are like, yeah, no, you're not showing this, you're not showing this. I wonder if there's even more of that with it being in season because of coaches and their paranoia of competitive advantage. That's what I'm going to be. Now, I think Frank Reich is probably the right one to use because he's a little more mild-mannered than some. Vrabel would have, who knows how that would have gone down. I don't think Vrabel would have signed up for this at all, but I'm curious. I'm curious about it. This is exactly what they needed to do to pique curiosity.
Spice it up a little bit.
My first thought was great, and my second thought was, what are they going to – I mean, it's one thing in training camp, in preseason, right? Like it's like, okay, none of this counts. But how much are they going to show in the regular season? Like how much really – like what is going to be their storylines? Because they cuts. Just can't right, there are no cuts. There's no cute story of some, undrafted guy or whatever, a guy who was on the practice squad last year. I mean, I guess – that could be in play a little bit, but will it be in mid-November? Like, what's the storyline? You can't. How much are you going to go into meeting rooms?
Yeah.
In the regular season, I guess I'm going to be very curious to see how they table this every week. Like, what insights are we going to get? I mean, are they going to be out on the practice field showing what the Colts are doing right before they play the Titans?
I think you'll see a lot of walkthrough.
Probably not.
Thank you, Mike. But, yeah, well, I mean, and really if you think about it, even in training camp, you see pretty generic stuff on the practice field. I mean, you're not, you're seeing some, you're seeing the 11-on-11 and 7-on-7. You're seeing that stuff, but I feel like you're seeing pretty generic plays and not, deep dive into the playbook. So it'll probably be, they know how to creatively edit, that stuff. But the other thing is, if you think about it, they finally have done what you and I have been saying they need to do. I mean, this is a team that was in the playoffs last year. I mean, this is an interesting storyline with Carson Wentz, and yes, it's a team in the Titans division, but at least they're doing that. At least it's not. I mean, even Jacksonville would have been cool here too, but because it's his first season. But
it's interesting that when I was bringing that up, I said Jacksonville would have been way more interesting than Dallas, and Richard brought that up yesterday and referenced Jacksonville. Like, they just need to get rid of, the rule and just try to pick – there's 32 teams. Just pick something that makes sense, something that will have people watching. Like, who cares whether they're a playoff team last year, when they've been on Hard Knocks. Just pick a team that's interesting, that's going to get people watching. That's all. It's not that hard. I don't know how much interest there is in Indianapolis. I don't know. I would have had more interest with Peyton or Andrew Luck. I don't know how much interest there is in Carson Wentz. Is he going to be hurt? Is he going to be playing? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'm just thinking out loud right now, just being honest. I don't really know what is it in Indy that what storyline would intrigue me. I don't know. I'm not sure there's anything that jumps out at me. Now, maybe that happens when we start watching, and it's like, oh, okay. But, I mean, is Frank Reich? I don't know what it is. Maybe
you don't think Carson Wentz is a big story?
I don't know if he interests me. Does Carson Wentz interest me? I don't think he does. What is Carson Wentz?
I'm curious about it. I guess that's the word I'll use. I'm more curious than anything, and it was like what you said a few minutes ago of how much are they going to show? Can you go in meeting rooms? What are some of the stories going to be since you don't have the cuts and the rookies trying to make the team and all those things? That's at least going to get me to watch the first episode. Like, that's going to draw me in there.
Is it Kevin Mawai on that staff?
No, yeah. He was with
Isn't he on the Colts staff?
I know he was with Herm.
He's not, yeah. He hasn't been with Arizona State. And I think he's with the Colts.
Well, he was with –
check that out.
he is with the Colts. He was with Arizona State last year.
Was he last year? I thought I thought that was the first year of
No,
Herm.
this is his – no. He's been there since 2018, and then this is his first year with the Colts. Assistant offensive line coach.
He may have gotten out of there after all the stuff that came out. It's like, this is probably a good time to bounce back to the NFL, right? There was some not so flattering stories coming out about Arizona State, and I don't even know what's going to happen there. But yeah, well, that'd be cool if Kevin White gets a little playing, a little airtime. Yeah,
I mean, I actually just watched I don't know if you saw a thing with him that he was on the NFL timeline on NFL Network around 9/11 and deciding to play. He was featured in that quite a bit because he was
for the Jets.
Yep, and he was the player rep.
Yep,
he and Strahan were the player reps for the Giants and the Jets.
Yeah, it was really interesting. So it was interesting that Michael Rappaport brought up Kenny Golladay, because I brought it up at the beginning of the show, and I've gone back and I've kind of watched the footage because I didn't know who the guy was. It was just an equipment guy sitting there. So I didn't see who was behind him. It was Daniel Jones sitting down and Jason Garrett right next to him. So everybody's trying to figure out who Kenny Golladay was going off on. Was it Daniel Jones or was it the OC? Was it Garrett or was it Jones? I don't know. Like I said, I think there's already some bad body language by the Giants just in 2 weeks. You got Saquon Barkley blowing up on the sidelines. You got Golladay blowing up on the sidelines. You've got their head coach wired really, really, really tight. He's wound up really tight. They better get some wins, or that thing you might smell some TNT. That thing may be ready to implode.
Let me put it to you like this. When you have a staff that Joe Judge is the head coach and Jason Garrett is the OC, your tight ends coach is Derek Dooley, your senior offensive assistant is Freddie Kitchens, which, woof on that, and your senior defensive assistant is Jeremy Pruitt.
Oh, Jeremy Pruitt. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Jeremy Pruitt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wrong former Vols coach.
That should tell you everything you need to know right there. No, Butch Jones is he's a head coach again.
Yeah. No, I know.
Arkansas State.
The minute I said it, I was like, oh, yeah, not wrong former Vols coach. Yeah, that doesn't sound like the who's who of coaches. That doesn't get you excited, does it? Like, oh, wow. Yeah, okay. Derek Dooley and Jeremy Pruitt on the same staff? Okay.
Think they're swapping stories, Vol stories?
Who knows what those two are doing. But, yeah, I don't know. It just does not – it's not a good look. But, anyway, the Hard Knocks, I think that it'll be – as we get closer, that'll be, I think, an interesting watch to see how that plays out. And, oh, by the way, what do the Colts look like by then? What's their record by mid-November?
I don't know. I really don't.
I think they're going to be in the hunt. They're going to be in the hunt. They're a good team.
I think they're a good team. I'll give you that. I think that let me rephrase it. I think they have the pieces to be a good team. It's whether they can put it all together, and if they start 0-3, that's a big hole to climb out of, especially with that schedule. Because they leave here, they go to Miami, then at Baltimore before they finally return home and they play Houston. So, that's it. It's their first 6 games.
Not very many weeks off.
No.
Not that you ever get that in the NFL.
It's the same thing with the Titans. Somebody's got to win the division. So,
yep.
I think we're looking at it. 11 wins could win this thing. So if you go 0-3, you can still get to 10 or 11 wins. You could still be very much in the hunt. Just presuming that the Jaguars and Texans are not going to contend.
Yeah.
Unless one of those teams contends, it's either the Titans or the Colts.
Their schedule's
so and so is the Titans.
Well, I know, but I would almost say the Colts.
They're going to be struggles. Those teams are going to go through struggles just because of who they're playing, but they're contenders.
I mean, you got Seattle and L.A. in the first 2 weeks, then the Titans, Miami, at Baltimore, at San Francisco.
That's brutal.
Titans, and then you get a little bit of a break with the Jets and the Jags. Then at Buffalo, Tampa at home, and then at Houston.
Golly.
Then the bye. And then New England at Arizona back-to-back, Vegas, and then close out the season at Jacksonville.
It's brutal.
That's a tough
the Titans is obviously just as brutal.
Yeah.
They play, 14 common opponents.
Yeah. I don't think there's any doubt. If you can get to 11 wins this year,
you've done pretty well.
You're going to win the AFC South. I don't think the division winner is getting 11 wins. I'd probably like a redo when we picked.
I know. I said 11.
Both of us said 11 and 6, and I'm like, I don't know. I know it's 1 week, but it's like, I don't know.
I think they're saying the same thing in Colts territory. That's what it would be compelling for me. Like if it were the Vikings, I don't know if I'd tune into this thing at all. But because it's the Colts, I think I'll be more apt to kind of see what's going on in their world.
Well, you're going to have a Titans kind of topic on the other side, or
yes.
Okay.
I have a question. It's one of the most asked questions since they traded for Julio Jones. Is what would defenses do? And we're going to tell you when we come back, and what that means for possibly the Seattle defensive game plan.
We'll do that on the other side as you listen to Darren, Daunic, and Chase, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Titans, Seahawks. The Two-Tone Blues seeks a Week 2 victory in hostile territory. Tune in Sunday at 1 for NFL pregame with Jared Stillman, Chris Sanders, and Mark Howard. Live from Corner Pub in Cool Springs. We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobus. Late morning into the afternoon, chance for a few isolated showers and thunderstorms, staying on the non-severe side. High temperatures for you Friday are going to be in the middle 80s with a touch of humidity and will stay just as warm for Saturday and Sunday.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
It's that time of year again, and all eyes are now turning to football as teams are back on the gridiron. BetOnline.net is your #1 spot for all the pro and college football odds and news this season. Get all the updated info on players, teams, and odds to help you with your new football contests, leagues, and new survivor pools. BetOnline.net is the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite sports. Pro sports, MMA, championship boxing, golf, horse racing, they have it all. Bring the game home with BetOnline.net, your online sports experts.
Hi, golfing friends. We're here to tell you about the 54-year anniversary membership special at Oak Hills Golf Course in Greenbrier. For only $89 a year with a $10 per year admin fee, you can get a 2-year anniversary membership at Oak Hills and enjoy unlimited golf from Monday through Sunday. Call Oak Hills Golf Course today to respond to this special offer before it's over. To get your $89 membership today, go to oakhillsgolfcoursetn.com or call 615-643-4505.
312 Pizza Company is family-owned and operated, bringing you a slice of Chicago to Nashville. 312 Pizza Company specializes in deep dish pizza, thin crust pizza, and all things Chicago style. And always made from scratch using secret family recipes passed down generation to generation. 312 Pizza is open 7 days a week and located in Germantown with dine-in, takeout, and curbside available. Call 615-730-7888 to order 312 Pizza Company, Nashville's authentic Chicago pizzeria.
Let's just take that out of your mouth.
At Ping's Pre-K, the growing enrollment is no play date.
Toilet is not a closet.
She needs more teachers certified in early childhood development.
Is it nap time yet? Lunch?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you know the arrow in Amazon's logo represents A to Z? Maybe the My Computer Career logo should represent unemployed to employed. Ryan was out of work when he started classes in March. In September, he started his IT career, working for Amazon, making more money than he ever thought possible. Here's a prime opportunity. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. You could start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Jared Stillman.
It's kind of a big deal around here. Kind of a big deal in these parts.
And company.
It's not just the trust, it's the way he gets open, and it's the routes that he runs.
Tune in Stillman and Company for your drive home. Delivered by TriStar Moving. Weekday afternoons from 2 to 6 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Interact with Darren, Daunic, and Chase. Call or text the show at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Us here at ESPN 102.5 The Game and Cromwell Media Nashville are helping our friends at WQMV in Waverly rebuild from the catastrophic floods last month. Head over to theGameNashville.com to learn how you can help, as well as the radio station suffered major damage to their structure, equipment, and a lot more. We want everyone affected by the floods to know you aren't alone and to keep being Humphreys County strong. great scene last night at Nissan Stadium, Waverly and White House, over 6,000 people in attendance. So really cool last night. Back here on Darren, Daunic, and Chase. So, Willie, you're going to throw something at us, and we'll go from there.
Okay, so remember when they acquired Julio Jones, the excitement in the aftermath of that, and there were a lot of articles written, some really good ones, that did deep dives, film studies, all of that stuff on how will defenses pick their poison? How would you cover Julio Jones, A.J. Brown, and still deal with the best running back in football? Would you stack the box? Hey, if you stack the box, then you're going to get Julio Jones, you're going to get A.J. Brown one-on-one. All of this stuff, right? Just basic football concepts, and some went deeper than others. So here we sit after week 1, and the Titans got nothing done on offense in their first game. The Cardinals, they had no problem. So what did the Cardinals do? The question is, did they load the box? So what do you guys think the answer is to that?
I'm going to say
there is a sports radar. Sport Radar is the service that the gentleman at The Athletic who covers the Seahawks. It's a really long article, but Michael Sean Duggar is the one that did this breakdown here.
I'm going to say they didn't have to.
I think they did, because it was very clear they were going after 22 early on. They were going to stop the running game. So, yes.
Okay. The correct answer is Darren is right.
Okay.
They did come out, and he calls it the Derrick Henry plan. They used a defensive front that had 8 or more in the box 35% of the time. Now, what does that mean? That was the 9th highest rate in week 1. So relative to other defenses, that's more than most teams do, according to Next Gen Stats. Okay, 35% of the time. So that should have meant that you would have really good matchups on the outside for Julio Jones and A.J. Brown, but neither one of them really had a good game. So it's kind of like, what gives? Because we know, first of all, just because you stack the box doesn't usually mean that you stop Derrick Henry. He's run against 8-man fronts plenty and done well. So it shows you how badly the offensive line got blown up. Mm-hmm. They had all kinds of problems.
Yep.
But what is maybe a mystery in seeing that stat, because with the naked eye, of course I was at the game, so I'm watching, and basically when you sit in the upper deck, you have an all 22 at all times, right? You're way up there, so you see all 22 at all times. But I'm not enough of an expert to say, okay, that's an 8-man front. I didn't look every time, all of that stuff. But so why, if they were running the 8-man front 35% of the time, why didn't they get more on the outside? Julio Jones, he has another interesting stat on Julio. He ran 34 routes in the game. Targeted 6 times, caught 3. We talked about that. 29 yards. 0.85 receiving yards per route run. That ranked 88th among qualifying receivers in week 1, according to True Media. Now, what is True Media? Next Gen Stats. He's got a lot of high-tech analytics things, but it's interesting where it compares you to all the other receivers at your position. So for reference, Julio Jones was 4th. He was very, very productive. So 29 yards total in 34 routes run. So they stacked the box against Henry, which should, in theory, open it up for Jones. Jones had a very poor day based on that. A.J. Brown had a couple of flashes. He had the nice touchdown catch, but he did not have a huge game. So what happened?
So your point in all this is that the lanes were there for Julio and for A.J., and they couldn't get the ball to him for whatever reason.
Isn't that what we talked about all summer?
The lanes, you're saying that essentially they got one-on-one coverage, right? I mean,
well, they should. Somebody, you can't have 12 or 13 guys in the field.
You're not getting double-teamed, right? Neither one of them are getting double-teamed. So the problem is the quarterback, you already said it, the offensive line was getting blown up, so they were stopping the run. Or if they were attempting to pass, the line's still getting blown up and they were getting sacked. So no time to throw the ball. So it was just – look, we all know if the offensive line, if you're not winning the battle in the trenches, it's going to be a long day. And clearly they didn't win the battle in the trenches on either side, and so therefore they had a long day. I mean, it'll have to just get way better. But it's not a bad approach. But to your point, it's not like they're the first team that's done that. I mean, teams have tried to stop Derrick Henry. Teams have gone after 22. And it may work for a quarter, but over the course of a game, it just hasn't worked. More times than not, he ends up, having his day, as we've already talked about the last couple of days on the show, talking about his numbers.
And I'm gonna
yesterday or last Sunday, it didn't work. Obviously,
I'm gonna take the guy's word for it. He says the Seahawks are going to use a similar defensive front to the one that the Cardinals used, and of course, we know Seattle did an outstanding job last week shutting down a very good Colts running game. It's not Derrick Henry, but once they got cooking last year, the Colts became a pretty good running team with Jonathan Taylor.
It did.
So that spells kind of trouble if they're presented with this again. Now, as we mentioned earlier in the show, Seattle has a couple of suspect corners that are a little undersized. So on paper, you might have this same possibility here where you stack the box, you got a confident defensive line. Maybe it's up to Julio Jones and A.J. Brown to have the big game. But so what are they doing differently? What do they adjust? And why was it so hard to get Jones and A.J. Brown going in the game? As we mentioned a bunch, they were targeting Chester Rogers a lot. And it's not like he was poor. He made a couple of nice plays. They got Ferkser in there a little bit, but it just wasn't like it was supposed to go all summer. It's like, oh, you're loading the box? We're going to kill you with Julio Jones and A.J. Brown. We got this all day. And it just never looked close. So it's really weird. After all that excitement, it looked nothing like it was supposed to look like. But right. I thought it was interesting because I didn't know if they were loading the box or what exactly they did. So it was interesting to see those numbers, that they basically did load the box. And so that should mean, okay, you're going to try to take away Derrick Henry? It should open stuff up. So is that a cause for concern, particularly about Jones, that he didn't look like he took advantage of the matchups? Like there wasn't separation. There wasn't blown, I don't think they doubled him that much. I don't know. There's not if you have 8 in the box, you can't double everybody, right? I'm not an expert. I'm just asking the question. Really.
As much as Seattle has been, we know the Legion of Boom, and we've talked about their defense so much over the years. It's not the same Seattle defense. No. Yes, there's still Bobby Wagner in the middle, and we know Bobby Wagner. But do they have a Chandler Jones on that defense? I don't think so. Do they have a J.J. Watt on that defense? I don't think so. We know Jamal Adams. He's a tremendous safety. But, I don't know if they have – but Arizona had a tremendous safety in Budda Baker. So I think what's crazy is we weren't really talking much about the Arizona defense because it gets overshadowed by the Arizona offense. Wouldn't you say right now when you think about guys that can really, really disrupt things like Chandler Jones did, like J.J. Watt did, and like Budda Baker did, Jamal Adams can be a disruptor, Bobby Wagner can be a disruptor. Who else can be a disruptor on that defense?
The defensive line did well. We were talking to John Clayton. We've had a couple. Dave Wyman pointed this out, that they have done some nice thing. It's not a who's who, but they've done a nice job of correcting some problems with their defensive line. Carlos Dunlap is more of a pass situation guy now.
Yep.
Where they can bring him in fresh and he can still get after the pass rusher or after the quarterback, but he's not having to play that much. They've got some new guys that have filled some holes pretty well there. So it worked really well in the first game. So once again, it comes back to stuff that we're talking about all week. The offensive line is just going to have to play so much better. They struggled so much. They didn't block well in the running game, and they didn't protect well.
Yeah, they have Darrell Taylor, former Vol, that's starting for them now as a linebacker. It's not the same defense that it once was. We've brought it up a few times this week, but I still say it's pretty effective. It's what Pete Carroll has expected to have, during his time there in Seattle, of having a defense that is going to get the stops and I think it's going to be a test whether they stack the box or they don't. I mean, I would assume they're going to go with the same game plan that Arizona did. They're going to try and shut down 22. Now, the question is going to be, and Nate on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, asked a really good question. Was it conditioning with Julio and AJ? Because they haven't it's what we've been talking about, the practice and playing in the preseason. How conditioned were they? How much in game shape were they? And how much is that going to change from last week to this week if that truly is the case?
It's a good question. I wouldn't think it was like they were tired because in the first half, because everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. Sure. They had the 3-and-out. They had the turnover. They're behind. It just one thing after another was coming at them, and they never really got settled in and poised to do their thing. They just never got a rhythm.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, it's just, can they turn that around? Can those two, whether it's one big play right off the bat or you get Henry going a little bit more and it opens up play action like they were unable to do last week, but they got to have 11-2, especially with the other injuries that they have. I mean, is Josh Reynolds? I guess Josh Reynolds he's been practicing. So
yeah, I think there's a chance he's in the plan here. So there's two corners here, Flowers and Reed.
Yep.
So they're both kind of shaky, I think, on paper. And the way they use Jamal Adams, he's a blitzer.
16 sacks in 2 seasons.
You feel like there's going to be some possibilities here for Jones and Brown to make some plays, I would think.
You better.
Thank you.
If the answer is no, it's going to be another long day.
You saw what Budda Baker did to Taylor Lewan. Like, that's Jamal Adams' thing.
Yeah.
Is getting in the backfield and wrecking your offensive line. Like that would look a lot similar if they're not able to get the ball out of the backfield.
That's why I said, you can compare Budda Baker, Jamal Adams, Bobby Wagner. Okay, but who's that third guy? Who's the third disruptor for Seattle? That's where I kind of stop. Like, Arizona had had 3 big-time disruptors.
Yeah.
Who's the third for Seattle? I don't really think they have it. I mean, I can't. Carlos Dunlap used to be a disruptor. I don't know if he is at this point in his career.
Spurts, but not consistently.
I don't know if at this point in his career he's a disruptor anymore. I mean, he was fantastic in the prime of his career, but I don't think today in 2021. So I don't know. I mean, Seattle wasn't great on defense last year. I mean, and I know this is not last year. This is this year. So I don't think that they've completely fixed everything. I need to see it first. I think the Titans should be able to get things going on offense, but we'll find out late Sunday afternoon.
The bar's high because we know that if that's the formula, you're probably going to have to score close to 30 to have a chance.
I'm curious to see what Darrell Taylor becomes. He played in last week was his first game. He didn't play at all last year, and he did record a sack. So 2 total tackles. Very modest numbers, but who knows what he can be. He was a second-round pick.
I want to talk to you about my friends at Cool Springs MD. We're going to come back with You Just Made the List, and they're my friends because they've been helping me become healthier and happier for years. They've improved my quality of life, and I hope you want that like I do. And that's exactly what they've done for me. They've got a very experienced staff over there. They've got Dr. Jeffrey Lodge, who is the board-certified physician. His wife, Daphne, is the registered nurse. And their staff can help you in a variety of ways. They've got a state-of-the-art facility out there in Cool Springs at 1642 Westgate Circle. And maybe you've tacked on some unwanted pounds lately that you would like to get rid of. Well, they take it very serious over there. And weight loss management is important to them. And they've got programs and products and people that can get you back on track and headed in the right direction ASAP. Your appearance should always be important, and we know it gets tougher as we age. Well, their staff can sit down with you when it comes to rejuvenation, talk to you about PRP, hair removal, Botox, and finally hormone therapy. These are all just some of the things they do under one roof. Maybe you need to get your levels checked because maybe they've dipped. Maybe they've dipped to an all-time low and you didn't realize it. As we age, levels tend to dip, and it may be affecting you in your mood, in your energy, your drive, just how you feel overall. Well, they'll be happy to discuss BHRT testosterone, and estrogen. They do it all, and they do it all under one roof. If you need to schedule an appointment or a consultation, pick up the phone and dial this number, 615-283-7291. That's 283-7291. Or you can learn everything about them by going to their website, coolspringsmd.com.
From all-day talk.
You can roll with that team. That's good enough to win a lot of football games.
To the biggest games.
The Los Angeles Dodgers have won the World Series for the first time since 1988.
Nashville's best sports talk is always at your fingertips. Just search the Game Nashville in your app store and download today. And keep it locked on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Kitchen Notes in the Omni Nashville Hotel is one of Nashville's favorite places to dine, serving up their award-winning menu items again. Kitchen Notes is renowned for their Southern-inspired dishes with a contemporary twist. Their breakfast features the popular Music City omelets, sourdough pancakes, cast-iron waffles. Plus, everyone knows that their Sunday brunches are the talk of the town. Lunch menu items include smoked prime rib, chicken hash, and the Kitchen Notes legendary shrimp and grits. Kitchen Notes is open Thursday through Sunday at 7 a.m. till 2 p.m.
Are you a father that is passionate about your fundamental constitutional right to parent your own child or children? Has your parenting time or your income been affected by COVID? This is Amanda J. Gentry, and I am a fierce defender of your constitutional rights. The courts in Tennessee are under an obligation to maximize equal parenting time. We do not live in an every other weekend world anymore. At the law offices of Amanda J. Gentry, fathers are extremely important, much like my own father was. Go to AmandaJGentry.com or call or text 615-604-6263. That's AmandaJGentry.com.
The Parker Store at 1909 Nolensville Road in Nashville is the Parker Factory Authorized Store for your Parker hydraulic, pneumatic, water, and chemical hose needs. They stock metric tubing and hose connections to 42 millimeters in size, and they'll fabricate while you wait up to 6,000 PSI hydraulic hoses in a 2-inch size. Call the Parker Store at 615-248-8245 for all the Parker requirements you have. The Parker Store, 1909 Nolensville Road.
Joe Rexrode here, talking biggest game of Sunday, Chiefs, Ravens, and FanDuel is about to make it even bigger because FanDuel is giving new customers 30-1 odds on either team to win by winning $150 on a $5 bet. Look, I'm a big Chiefs believer. You can go either way on this, and you can do so many things on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. #1 rated sportsbook app in America. Very easy to use, safe and secure, fast payouts. FanDuel is sports betting made simple, and they're always hooking you up with great offers. And when you win, you get paid as little as 24 hours. See for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Sign up with promo code Joe102 this Sunday before the Chiefs take on the Ravens, and you can win $150 on a $5 bet. Remember to use promo code Joe102 so they know why I sent you. Exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $150. Bonus for Tennessee users fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789.
Nashville's best sports talk, locally owned, home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT-FM Pegram, 97.5 Murfreesboro, WBUZ HD2 Laverne, online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
102.5 The Game. Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's time for Darren, Daunic, and Chase. With hosts Darren McFarland, Willie Daunic, and Chase McCabe. On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game. Are you angry? No, really. Has that one person got you fuming? Well, call them out. Now's your chance to tell them.
You know what? You just made the list.
You just made the list.
Here we go.
Let us know who's on your list. Call 615-737-1025. You just made the list. Now, on Darren, Daunic, and Chase.
All right, let's get those phone lines loaded up. It's time for you to release. Tell us who or what has made you mad. Let's feel better going into the weekend. Get it off your chest. 615-737-1025. 615-737-1025. That's our phone line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Win a pair of tickets to see Alice Cooper and Ace Frehley at Send Amphitheater on October the 3rd. Sunday, October 3rd. You just made the list, presented by TriStar Moving. Once again, get in there and load up those phone lines. Who would like to start?
I'll start it up. On the list for me, all the people that call the show over the years, as long as I've been doing shows like this, somebody on Monday or Tuesday will call in or now tweet in, text in. What about that prevent defense? It prevents you from winning the game. We've all experienced this guy over decades. Correct, Darren? There's always that guy.
Yes.
Why'd they go into the prevent defense? It prevents you from winning the game. Well, you know why they do the prevent defense? Take a look at the tape of the Jacksonville State-Florida State game. Okay? That's why the prevent defense was put into play.
New England 2 years ago against Miami.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Rob Gronkowski, remember? Put him back there.
So I'm not here to tell you that the prevent defense works every time because clearly it doesn't. But there's a reason why you do it. Florida State. Hello. Not only was it not a prevent defense, it was, what are they doing?
I don't know. That
like
one was
apparently I was listening to an interesting podcast about from a guy that looks at defensive linemen and things. Apparently, what Mike Norvell said after the game of the defensive call was not what the tape said in terms of what a football analyst said. Okay, that's not this call. He said it was two safeties high or whatever. There's only one safety back there. There was one guy, and then a guy covering man to man. And of course, the safety was of no help. He was back there, but didn't come close to touching the guy. So it was poorly executed. But, if you played the prevent, you'd have a couple more guys back there. That's why you play the prevent. So all the experts who call shows on Monday and say, why do they go into the prevent defense? It prevents you from winning the game.
You just made the list.
Sometimes the prevent defense is the right move.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
I will just I can do mine. Mine's pretty short and sweet.
Okay. Mine will probably take the longest. So
okay.
Chase has said there's participation involved with us, Darren, for his.
All right, let me go then, because mine is very simply put. It was in the middle of the week. I think it was Wednesday. Was watching Around the Horn before. Had to load up the car and head to baseball practice. Nothing wrong with Around the Horn, right? Nice show. It's been around for it's been around for a long time, probably a couple of decades. It's it may be their longest running show on ESPN. Pardon the interruption, and Around the Horn, probably, right? Two longest running shows on ESPN.
Or NFL Live, maybe.
It was around the same time that those two shows came into play.
Yeah, they've been around. I mean, like I said, I think it's probably close to 2 decades.
Like it was early 2000s.
Yeah. So I'm watching it. Tony Reale has been the host for, I think, almost that entire time. I mean, he's been the host for a long time. Does a good job.
2001 is when PTI started.
Okay. And when was Around the Horn?
2004, you just said, right?
Max Kellerman was the first host of that show, too, wasn't he?
He was.
Yeah,
Max Kellerman was. It didn't last.
2002.
2002. So it's, like I said, close to 2 decades. Those shows have been on ESPN. So longest running programs they've got. But Wednesday's subject matter was, imagine that, the Tennessee Titans. It's amazing. They get Julio Jones and how much national attention they get. But they weren't talking about Julio Jones. They were talking about the left tackle for the Tennessee Titans. They were having a healthy discussion about the left tackle who got worked by Chandler Jones and his tweet that he put out that we certainly talked about on Monday. And they were discussing that. And Tony Reale kept calling him Taylor Luan. Taylor
Tony
Luan.
Come
you
on.
just made the list.
Tony.
And I just could not let that go. First of all, okay, I get it. You're not in Nashville. You don't cover the team. Someone that ESPN, this just in, that show that's been around 2 decades, they probably have a pretty big production team. There's a lot of people involved to pull off that show every day. How does no one, and I mean no one, inform him it's Taylor Lewan and not Taylor Luan? He kept calling him Taylor Luan, and it was driving me crazy.
You're saying
yeah,
repeatedly?
He probably said it like 3 times. Taylor Luan. Come on, guys.
Some people have an aunt, Luann.
So
my mom is Leanne.
Around the horn. You just got to get it, man. You're hit it.
You just made the list.
Tony Reale.
That deserves. He deserves to get a shot there.
Taylor Luann.
Come on, Tony.
By the way, he's a first-round pick. This is what, year 7?
He's been in the league
year
a
8?
long time. He's been in the league a long time.
He's a 3-time Pro Bowler. This is like year 7, year 8, first-round pick. Taylor Luann.
Nobody on the panel corrected him?
No
Somebody's
one.
got to do that.
Somebody's going to
Producer,
say,
somebody
corrected him. No one.
Somebody get in the guy's ear.
Taylor Luann. Come on.
And I hear like some people say Luan. I think it's like Luan is kind of how I've always said it, but it's better than Luann.
Luann.
It is definitely not Ann. Ann is not there.
Luann.
All right, here's mine, and I'll go quickly on this, but I need participation. I need the three of you. You're going to help me determine who is exactly on the list in this situation. I'm going to tell you the story, and then you kind of decide.
So you're saying there could be two options.
One
or the other is going on
there
the
are
list.
3 candidates.
Three
for this.
candidates. Ooh.
Sawyer is one of them.
Oh, he's always a suspect.
He is a canine.
He is a suspect.
He is a canine, for those that don't know.
Rebel the cat.
Always
a feline.
suspect.
Always been, or me.
Okay.
Or me. So the
a dog, a cat, and a guy.
The situation is this. I, the other day, had been craving spaghetti. So I went to,
You've
Elijah's.
eaten a lot of spaghetti in your lifetime.
I have.
Okay.
I have. But I don't have it as
Haven't we
readily
all?
available anymore because
Correct.
the restaurant's not there. So I went to a fine place that is known for spaghetti, and I had a late lunch. It was really, really good, but it was very filling, so I had leftovers, and it was a good portion. Like, hey, there you go. Here's
I'll
lunch.
come back and eat
Here
this.
is lunch tomorrow. So I go home. I have the to-go box, and I walk in, and as I'm walking, you have those days where you like walk into the house and your phone starts ringing and like the dog's ready to go out and everything is happening all at one time. And on top of that, I had to pee. So you have to add that.
Nature called.
So mom called and nature called all at the same time. So all these things are happening. Well, in the midst of all this, I had set the spaghetti on the counter. Now, go and take care of business. And as I'm washing my hands, I hear, and I go, oh, crap. I didn't say crap. I said something else. And I go rushing in. This is probably a 5 second, 3 seconds maybe. That spaghetti is long gone.
Ooh.
Sawyer has devoured it. Just absolutely devoured it. And because he knew that I was going to hear him, and as soon as that hit the floor, he had to take care of it, and he did.
Just so you know, this is match game. I've already written down my answer and submitted it. My light
Okay.
is on. So
okay.
My answer's already in there.
Okay.
So I'm ready to go.
So I am like, Sawyer, and I'm mad. Well,
only I didn't say fudge.
No, I did. Yeah, I didn't. But the whole time, Rebel's just sitting on the counter, and he's just kind of got this grin on his face, and I'm like, okay, did Sawyer jump up on the counter and get it, or did Rebel knock it off? Because if Rebel knocked it off, I can't put Sawyer on the list because he's like, hey, it's on the floor.
It's fair
He's
game.
cleanup crew.
Yeah, like it's fair game. The question is, I don't know. Or am I on the list because I knew this was going to happen because the animals were there, so I shouldn't have put it on the counter and just left it unattended. I should have gone straight to the fridge. Then I know it's secure, and then I go about my business. So who in your mind is on the list?
Chase, I hate to throw you under the bus, but you know your animals.
I know.
You know your pets better than anybody else. You know that they're notorious for stuff like this. And I will say, my animals in my house, they're up to no good as well. Now, they don't work in cahoots. As I've told you, they work in separate schedules. We do not mix the cats and the dogs. It's a bad scene.
Yeah.
They fight. We're worried for our cat's life.
Mine conspire.
You're conspire. So when you come home, this is a possibility. This is a very attractive thing. And you have two ways that this could happen. Two.
Yeah.
Either Rebel knocks it off and the dog gets it, or Sawyer just goes and makes the move on his own, gets up on the counter. And he can do that, correct? He can go.
Yeah,
he can get up.
Yeah, that's easy for him.
Okay. So you put it in a bad spot.
I did.
You got to elevate. Or go fridge.
I should have gone to the fridge. All right, Darren.
Self-reliance. I say Chase is on the list.
You just made the list.
You said you already submitted it.
Look at the video. Can you guys see it?
Yeah. Chase.
My match game card says Chaser.
Yeah.
Chase. You have a dog that's the size of a mini horse. Okay? You could give rides to the kids on the block on your dog and charge them. Okay? You cannot. By the way, how old is Sawyer?
He's 4.
4. You've had him since he was a puppy.
Yeah.
How long have you had the cat?
He's 6.
6. Okay. You've had years to pick up on their tendencies.
Tendencies.
And yet you
Film
chose
study.
Yes, you had a bathroom break, a phone ringing, and yes, you're all over the place.
Yeah.
You put food on the counter when you have a horse in your house. It's a bad combination.
You lost your focus.
And by the way, it's not your pets. It's not Willie's pets. It's everybody's pets.
They all do it.
They all do it. I've told Maddox in his little room in there, in his little his gaming room, dude, if you leave your food out, the dogs are going to eat it because he's like, oh, man, Callie ate my pizza. Well, no, duh. I've told you that how many times? If you get up and leave the room and leave the food out, the dogs are going to eat it.
It's like, hey, it's
just
just
you
sitting
to
here.
keep it up away from them. You cannot do it. So, look, it doesn't matter if it was the cat, the dog, or they conspired together. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. The person at fault is the one who put the spaghetti on the counter when you have a horse in your house.
It's me.
You just made the list.
The listeners agree with you, by the way.
Yeah, it's
and I thought that's where it was going to go.
Yeah,
but
I do think Rebel knocked it down, though.
Oh, there's no question. There's no question. He does that stuff all the time. They have a little they're a tag team.
Rebel and Stanley must be on the same wavelength because if I leave anything on my bedside table in the middle of the night, it's going down. Stanley's not going to. He's knocking it on the
person who
ground.
drove the getaway car is still going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Like the cat drove the getaway car. But guess what? You're the
he
one
was
that
very
did the stick up.
amused.
You had the sign, you had the gun, and you had the mask. So you're getting more time than them. Like the cat drove the getaway car, and so they're gonna get in trouble too. But you're getting in the most trouble because you had the mask, the sign, and the gun.
See, that's where I'm at. I think all three are making the list.
Yes.
Because,
if
you ever watch the show Bait Car, where people leave like a car with a door wide open and the keys in it?
No, it's not people. The police.
The police, yeah.
Yes.
The police aren't arresting themselves for being dumb enough to leave the car out. They're going to arrest those who took the bait anyway.
Right,
so Chase left the bait out, and
yeah,
the animals, they capitalized. Now, granted, they capitalized on an opportunity. Probably maybe not as smooth as they would have liked because you don't want to draw the attention to get you out of the bathroom to look to see what fell. So the execution could have been better. And I know Chase wanted to execute them afterwards.
I did.
But, yeah, they got caught too, so they're all three on the list.
There's no reason to belabor the point, Chase. You're on the list.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Let's get to the loaded phone lines. And let's start off with, which is always awkward, the awkward neighbors. So let's start up north of town. Let's check in with Adam and see what his awkward, quirky neighbors are up to.
Okay, so it's I don't have an event for him this week, but I will tell you what I think is probably the conclusion of this. So he comes over a couple days ago, and he's like, hey, can you come help me do something real quick? I'm like, yeah, of course. So I throw my shoes on. I go over, and he's got this little shop that he works in, and constantly. He's probably 6 or 7 hours a day out in this shop. And I'm helping him hang a door up while he's drilling it in. And I start hearing, like, faintly in the background, Caroline Fenton and Mark was on. And I start hearing them talking back and forth. I'm like, oh, yeah, I listen to this radio station. He's like, yeah, me too. I listen every day.
Oh.
I'm like, oh, yeah? He's like, yeah. And we didn't really talk about it anymore, but Chase said something about that the other day, and I was like, in the back of my head, I'm like, there's no way he's listening to this. There's a million other things he could be doing besides listening to the same thing I listen to. But sure enough, man, he had it on in there playing on like a little old radio with an antenna, just has it going while he works, and he's always out there. So I imagine he's listening, man.
What's his name?
I'm not doing that. No.
Come on. Tell us his name.
Just in case, but I'm fairly certain he's listening, man.
Hey,
It's
fella.
like I said, he's always out there, and that thing was pretty clear. So
Okay. All right.
not great, but yeah.
Yeah, it's so he's fully aware of this.
Well, I think that the lawn was a thing, and then I think everything after that, the weeds and the trash can and all that, I think that was all probably like, I'll show this guy. So
okay.
So it's what I brought up a few weeks ago. We think he could be messing with
that.
you. Which if that's the case, Adam, that's fantastic.
That is honestly, at your expense, and I hate to say it, but yeah, it is kind of fantastic.
Yeah,
like if he really
and
is
to be
doing
like
that.
a 70-year-old dude and to still have that in you, like, yeah, I'm doing this.
He's sitting there right now just with a grin on his face,
that is
like,
a good
yeah,
point.
I'm in his head.
All
Yeah,
right,
for sure.
all right. Thanks for the awkward update again of your neighbors, your quirky,
good.
weird neighbors. But they're not really that quirky. If they're really doing this on purpose, like that's fantastic. I mean, that is just fantastic.
Sounds like he still got it.
Oh, my gosh. That's great. Let's go out to California. Steve wants to put somebody on the list. Steve, what's up?
Hi, guys. I'm a big Pred fan and a big Titans fan. Go Titans and Run Wild, number 22.
All right.
So when you go to a department store to return items, you really need to have the receipts. And they can check and see if you bought the item, apparently. I don't know. But this lady was in line forever, and my girlfriend and I were trying to return some stuff. And, it took forever. And also the other thing, when you go to a department store, please don't take other stores' merchandise that you bought from another store and try to return it at the other store. It just doesn't work.
Oh, God.
It just doesn't work.
Oh, boy.
So to that lady...
You just made the list!
Yeah, 25 minutes, guys.
She had clothes or whatever from another store.
And the lady was so nice to her. She goes, that's not ours. She's looking at the receipts. It's got Macy's on it. And this is another store.
Oh, my gosh.
And the lady also had something that she bought that she couldn't get full price for. She bought it at that store, but she couldn't get full price back, and she was irritated. And to the lady who was helping her, put her on the good list because she was very gracious. And there's a reason that I'm not behind that counter.
Wow, good stuff. Thank you, Steve. Thanks for listening.
Go Titans!
All right. Out in California. I like it. Let's
App
go.
works anywhere.
Yes, it does. Anywhere in the world. Mike up in Gallatin. Who or what is on your list?
Hey, guys. So speaking of dogs jumping on the counter, Chase, there was a situation that my wife, for our anniversary 2 years ago, went out of her way and was, marinating, these big, juicy steaks for a solid, week or something like that. She spent a lot of hard work and time on these steaks and this entire meal. And she had pushed the food all the way back to the end of the counter. And this is back when we lived in an apartment. Our Dalmatian, who's, I'm sure, not the size of Chase's dog, but if there's a will, there's a way for those dogs. He got up on the counter and grabbed the steaks while she was in the back room, in the bathroom or whatever, and ate the entire anniversary meal that she had planned for, weeks. So those dogs, man, it don't matter where you put the food. You can put it on top of the fridge. You put them, to the side, to the left, on the dryer. You can't hide the food. If they want it, they're going to get it. But for the list today, two separate fantasy football things that have annoyed me in the past week. I was going up against Week 1 Dak Prescott, and I had Josh Allen, and I really needed him to try to match Dak to be able to have me feel confident going in that I was going to be able to catch up from what he had. And just Josh Allen let a big old fat goose egg for the most part for me on the week. Threw out there on our fantasy website like chat that I was like, man, screw Josh Allen, something like, generally frustration, just, for what is fairly banter. I immediately get a trade request for Ryan Tannehill for Josh Allen straight up. The guy being like, hey, take your homer if you want to make this trade. Obviously, that guy's goofing around, and I was like, but I'm like, don't even bother me with those kind of trades. But this guy here was being serious. The guy who goes on the waiver wire and picks up 2 or 3 guys and then to trade you a 4-for-1 trade. I had a guy who was trying to trade for Darren Waller, and he wanted to give me Ferkser, Ingram, Shepard, and somebody else. I don't remember who it was. And he tried to hit me with stats. He tried to hit me with, all sorts of things to try to make that trade sound better. But to the guys that think that you can trade your entire bench for my first-round pick, you're nuts.
Yeah, that's silly. Silly. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, thanks.
You just made the list.
Yeah.
Ferkser, Shepard, and who? For Darren Waller got targeted 29 times in that game against the Ravens.
That was unreal.
He had the most targets of any player in the league in Week 1. Come on. Let's go to Steven. Steven, who or what is on your list?
What's up, gentlemen? I'm actually watching on the live feeds today, and I wasn't sure if that was Steve Jobs or Willie Daunic hosting today.
He does have the Steve Jobs look going.
But I've been waiting all week to do this. This happened over the weekend. So I have to put my wife on the list, and I'll tell you why. So we were walking through the zoo on Saturday with my son, and we were about to leave and go home, and she said, hey, I want to fall asleep on the way home, and I want to take a nap. And I said, okay, cool, that's no big deal. She said, well, just put on that Darren, Billy, and whoever it is podcast on your way home. That'll put me right to sleep. So I'll put her on the list.
Wow.
You just made the list.
Okay. Big fan of the show?
I'm a big fan. I guess she thinks it's good sleep material.
Okay. Well, by the way, what does she call the show again? Darren, Billy, and who?
And whoever his name is.
Close enough.
But
maybe there is a show called that in Indianapolis or something. I mean, who knows? You never know.
Have a good weekend, guys.
All right, you too.
Thank you.
You just made the list.
Been called worse.
Steve Jobs. Speaking of the Zoom, remember what's at stake, Darren, with your underdog pick. If the Commodores win on Saturday, the Vanderbilt hat that I own will have your mug over top of the Star V for the week, the entire week on Zoom. It's coming.
Okay.
I'll gladly do it.
I'll gladly accept. I would love for him to win.
Big points for you.
Yeah. Let's go to Kenny the Mailman. Who or what is on his list?
Fellas, y'all make a living speaking into a live microphone. Raise your hand if anyone there has said something and when within 1 second you desperately thought, oh, please let me have that back.
The answer to that, Kenny, because
I
you
see
have
that hand. Yeah, I see that hand, and mine's in the air also. I've even done it as a caller. Well, last Saturday I was listening on 94.9 ESPN2, the national show, and our local friend Braden Gall was on. And it was a rollicking group of guys there picking games, and they said, Braden, give us your pick. And he said, South Alabama today is going to roll Bowling Green. So why don't we all get together, and on the anniversary of the 20th year of 9/11, let's all bet on USA. And with that, the room went totally silent. 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and finally you hear a voice say, somebody please pick another game. So I don't think on your celebration of the 20th anniversary of 9/11, people want betting tips.
You just made the list.
Yeah, that one fall under that category that you laid out there, Kenny. Thank you.
Cringeworthy.
Yeah. Yikes. Ouch. Let's go to Doug. Doug, who or what is on your list?
Fellas, I want to preface this by saying that I am the son of a mechanic, of an big-time dealership, Cadillac. So I have a few tips and pointers that I learned along the way. Didn't learn how to turn wrenches, but I saw a lot of things that my father would do to cars. One of the tips he would do is if he was working and going inside the car, he turned the floor mat over, and he put a cover on the seat. Well, I've learned that, and as I go to get my front end aligned, I flip the floor mat. I have a pretty nice car. Has an L on the front, doesn't stand for loser. So I flip the floor mat, and I put a cover on the seat, big bath towel. When I come back, bath towel's off, and the floor mat's not flipped on the rubber side, but back on the bank side. There are footprints of grease all in the floor mat, and there's a greasy butt print also in the seat. So I pay my bill, go inside, talk to the service manager of the place, and he tries to deny it. I said, call your guy in here. He has a greasy butt and greasy feet. And I said, if he'd have just left the floor mat alone, he flipped it over off of the rubber side back to the cloth side. I had him took care of. So, Mr. Stupid front-end alignment dude, and by the way,
just made the list.
You just got burnt with a full detail clean of my car. The boss said, let's go get it clean. So I'm bringing him a bill. I can't make this up. I flipped the floor mat to the rubber side, put a big beach towel that I got from a hotel from a travel ball game, and he takes the towel off. He said, I got tired of squeezing all around that towel. And for whatever reason, he flips the floor mat.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. Doug, only you, man.
Dumb.
You've
Dumb.
got some great stories.
Stuff happens
Thank
to
you.
Doug.
I know. Stuff
Thank you.
That would be a good show. Stuff
that
that
happens with Doug.
happens to Doug. Let's sneak one more in. Eric, who or what is on your list?
Hey, guys, I don't know if you saw this on the news. I saw this on the news a few days ago. This was on Channel 4 where I guess it was a female Uber driver that was real upset with her passenger.
Yep.
Yeah. And apparently he
Picked
asked
him up
well,
from
could
the
she roll
airport.
the window down, and she refused to do it because of COVID.
Yep.
Then he asked, well, could you please go the speed limit? But she again refused, and apparently she just got so upset with the guy, told him to get out of the car, took his bag, and just dropped him off by the side of the road. I don't know if it was like Violet Parkway or Ellington Parkway.
It was on the interstate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, the interstate. Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's what it was. I just didn't remember, but of course, got suspended. But it's just like I guess she was just really not having a good day. So that female Uber driver, she makes my list.
And by the way,
You just made the list.
He was videoing the whole thing on his phone.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eric.
I wish I had been videoing. I that just jogged my memory of one that I can use for the list maybe next week. But I had I had a thing happen with an Uber driver.
This
not
was
too
a
long
Lyft
ago.
driver, and she just went nuts on him and just pulled over and said, "Get out!" And by the way, and he was like, "Can you please pop the trunk?" He was afraid that she was gonna like just take off with his suitcases.
Yeah.
She picked him up at the airport.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Can you pop the trunk, please? Can you pop the trunk, please?" And she gets out and she takes his luggage and just throws him as hard as she can.
Jeez.
It was all caught on. Like I said, he was videoing the whole thing. It was bad.
There's some that are.
It was bad.
Yeah.
All right, we'll come back. We'll talk with our buddy Alan Bell. We'll talk about some betting as we get you ready for Pick 6 coming up at 1 o'clock. We do that next.
Touchdown, Titans.
Can Derrick Henry and the Titans get into the win column?
Wilson fires downfield. Lock it. He's got it. Touchdown.
Or will the defense continue to get exposed when they face Russell Wilson? Tune in all day Monday for full reaction to Titans Seahawks.
Talking Titans?
We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, it's Jared, and there's a new go-to for home furnishing.
The summer clearance sale at Social Furniture, where all furniture is reduced in every department. Designer sofas from $5.99 and leather sofas from $7.99. Queen bedroom sets with queen bed, dresser, and mirror from $11.99. They come in solid, cherry, oak, and gray. Casual 5-piece dining room sets starting at $3.99, and formal dining sets starting at $5.99. Sealy, Stearns & Foster, Simmons, Serta, and Purple Mattress, all sizes on sale.
Social Furniture on the west side is independently home-owned furniture store in Nashville. Forget the big box stores. Shop local, shop social. They have all the best brand mattresses, sofas, recliners, love seats, sectionals, coffee tables, and more with no waiting. They will deliver it the same day. That's with everything at Social Furniture. Enjoy new furniture now with no waiting. Shop local, shop social. 5412 Charlotte Avenue near White Bridge Road, and tell them Jared Stillman sent you.
It's that time of year again, and all eyes are now turning to football as teams are back on the gridiron. BetOnline.net is your #1 spot for all the pro and college football odds and news this season. Get all the updated info on players, teams, and odds to help you with your new football contests, leagues, and new survivor pools. BetOnline.net is the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite sports. Pro sports, MMA, championship boxing, golf, horse racing, they have it all. Bring the game home with BetOnline.net, your online sports experts.
Hey, it's Jared from my friends at Edmunds. Buying a car can be overwhelming, especially now that the demand is back and in full swing. Lucky for you, Edmunds has been taking the stress out of car shopping for over 50 years. Edmunds editors drive over 500,000 miles every year, testing thousands of hours on hundreds of new vehicles. They review almost every car on the market and rank the best ones in each category, so you can narrow that search and compare options side by side to find the best vehicle for you. And when you're ready, Edmunds makes it easy to find options in your area with accurate price estimates. Edmunds has top-rated awards, which are selected by their editors based on all that extensive testing, so they know, hey, if this is what you're looking for, this is going to be a good fit for you. It considers performance, comfort, technology, fuel economy, and value. And you can rank it however you'd like. Edmunds is here to guide you to your perfect vehicle. Visit Edmunds.com to see their best car rankings and search for vehicles near you. That's EDMUNDS.com. For cars, there's Edmunds.
Now's the time to get a great deal on select Kubota compact tractors. Rated #1 for reliability in the under 100 horsepower category, they're designed for easy operation and feature performance-matched attachments. Right now, put 0 down and get 0% APR for 84 months, plus save up to $1,400. Now through December 31st. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
ESPN's Turon Davenport breaks down the Titans like no other.
On the field chemistry, I don't think it's going to be a problem. It's just going to be a process.
Catch TD Mondays at 11, Thursdays at 3, and Fridays at 8. Plus, the Talking with TD podcast drops every Wednesday.
When you draft players, it's not just for one season, it's for a career.
Presented by FreedomTireGuys.com, Nashville's premier mobile tire company, and Craneworks and Rental Works, your source for crane and equipment rental. Visit Craneworks.com. Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Pete Weber. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk. ESPN 102.5 The Game.
You're darn tootin', Pete. Thank you. Back here on Darren, Daunic, and Chase, presented by Quration CBD. Quration CBD products curated for life. Chase, tell everybody before we get to our next guest where you'll be drinking Irish car bombs on Saturday. Chase not there?
All right, sorry. I'm here. What am I doing?
What are you going to be doing tomorrow?
Oh, I am going to be having a lot of fun with all of you because I'm going to be out at Brewhouse South in Cool Springs starting at 2:30 as Alabama is going to take on Florida in that big matchup down in Gainesville. So come out, hang out with me, say hi, whatever you want to do as Chaser's Tailgate makes its debut. Again, starting at 2:30, you can register to win some prizes. They'll have great food, beer specials. Just come out to Brewhouse South in Cool Springs.
All right. Let's go to Alan Bell from Sportsline. Let's get some odds on what kind of drinks Chase will have. Will it be water, soda, or drinks that may have him thinking a little fuzzy at times?
Water is plus 1,000.
Heavy underdog.
Heavy underdog.
Heavy
okay.
underdog.
Alan, what do you got at Sportsline? What do you think it's going to be?
Well, I'll tell you what. We were doing the calculations this morning. Look, Irish car bombs are a minus 250, so that's your clear favorite right here. And then we move into more shots, and then the food. The food is a whole other board, which we're excited to hear about as well.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm going to bet on all the favorites for him tomorrow for sure. So after 1 week in the NFL, what's the better path? Because I should have looked this up, just kind of going through it quickly. But what was the better path? Was it an underdog weekend, or was it a favorite weekend, or was it right down the middle?
Oh, it was a huge, huge underdog weekend. In fact, underdogs in week 1 went 12-4 against the spread, which for a week 1 is the most in the history of the NFL in the Super Bowl era.
Wow.
And wild. So think about this. Sportsbooks cleaned up. And what happens last night? Underdog covers again. So 13-4 against the spread so far.
Wow. So I'm trying to think. Who are a couple, just trying to go through the games. So we know Seattle covered, Arizona covered, the Rams covered.
Yeah. So you got a couple here.
Who covered?
The Steelers covered and outright won. The Lions ended up covering that big line against the 49ers. You saw the Saints cover against the Packers. You saw the Cowboys cover against the Buccaneers. Yeah, you saw the Cardinals obviously cover against the Titans. It was a massive, massive underdog weekend.
Wow. Interesting. So what do you think that spells for week 2? As you mentioned, it's already been an underdog week starting off with the Giants covering last night. Do you think it's going to continue down that same path going into this weekend, or do you feel like it'll get a little bit more balanced out? What's your gut telling you right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there has to be a little bit of balancing out. I mean, just the numbers in general, right? Because the NFL spreads are going to be so sharp anyway that it's going to have to even out a little bit. But I'll tell you this, usually from week 1 to week 2 is when we see the big, let's say, overreactions, to week 1. And if you look at Sunday night, we've got the Chiefs at the Ravens. The Chiefs are a 3.5-point favorite right now. So the public is already all over the favorite again, and the Chiefs. Books are seeing as much as 35 tickets to the Chiefs to every 1 ticket to the Ravens. So that goes to show you, the public's not backing down. They're going with favorites again.
I would probably, with that being said, that info right there, I'd probably take the Ravens. Honestly.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it's massive, right? Like, first off, the books and everybody who faded the public made so much money. Not only the NFL, but in college football too. There are a lot of underdogs that covered, and it kind of goes to show you that really anybody can win. Anybody can cover at any time. Like if you don't show up on Sunday, good luck. Anybody can be beat.
How have things been going on the college ranks?
Well, I'll tell you this. Pretty much it's been Alabama and everybody else. Now, you've got Georgia and Oregon that are up there. But we'll find out how good that they are, in the coming weeks. And we're going to find out this weekend, with Alabama, taking on Florida. But, I mean, it's been the Alabama show. Once Ohio State went down, which, again, they'll be in the conversation at the end. Once Clemson lost, which they'll be in the conversation at the end. But it's pretty much Alabama and everybody else.
What if we've talked with you about this in the past, Alan? Like you get asked, people pose a lot of questions to you on Twitter. Also, people love to show you their winning tickets.
Yeah.
But, you've been fielding as we get these Thursday and Friday night games, and now that we're really getting into, like, the full swing of things, we basically can now start on, Wednesday and go all the way through the weekend. What's a question or two that you're getting hit with a lot that may interest the listeners?
Yeah, so I'll tell you the first one is how to play totals, okay? Because most people look at spreads, and they don't look at totals as much. But, again, there's a lot of factors that go into it. I'll say this. We've had 6 games in the NFL season so far that featured home underdogs, okay? So in those 6 games, if the home underdog covered, the over is 100%. If the road favorite covered, the under is 100%. So what I mean by that is that if you look at game scripts, right, what makes sense to you? If both teams you think are going to score, i.e., the underdog is going to make it, a pretty good game, well, you've got a better shot at the over. If you think that a favorite is going to cover and somewhat easily, that means you're probably only looking at one team doing most of the scoring. So take a look at the under there. So I get a lot of questions about that, questions about parlays and things too. But, it all depends. Really, people just want winners, so that's
Sure.
it. But, yeah, I mean, I think totals, that's where a lot of the questions come from because just not as many people play them.
Alan Bell is with us from Sportsline. And speaking of underdogs, I feel, and I want to know if you feel the same way, that there are some intriguing dogs that could be barking this weekend in college football. And Michigan State, I think, is one of them against Miami. What do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree. Look, I don't know what to do with Miami except fade them. I don't believe in them whatsoever. It feels like Alabama, honestly, just took their souls, right? And they just don't look right at all. And you look at this Michigan State team, and take a look at this stat. If I am correct, I believe they've scored on the first play of the game in both of their games, right? So keep an eye on that one. But, yeah, I'm with you. I think Michigan State is a great underdog play this weekend.
I had somebody ask me about this game last night, and I said it's a hard number to read, and I wasn't really sure. Nebraska is getting 22.5 against Oklahoma. Now, I feel like Oklahoma should win that game, but do they cover that 22.5? I mean, Nebraska, even though they're 2-1, but we saw how they opened their season. How do you read that one?
So 22.5, as you know, is a really good number. If you look at your key numbers, 7, 14, 21, 28, right? Like 22.5 is a good number to get with that team. What worries me is that at some point, Oklahoma is going to put it all together, and they're going to blast someone, and they're going to do it to somebody pretty good. And Nebraska isn't necessarily all that good. So what worries me is that there could be a chaos factor with Oklahoma to where they just go nuts on offense, and it's coming. We don't know which week it's going to happen, but they're going to do it. But I would say this: if you're an experienced bettor and you're not afraid to lose a bet because you're taking a good number, this is a good number. So I'm with you. I think that it's worth the shot. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. We're all going to lose bets. But more times than not, when you play a good number, it's going to work out favorably for you.
And then another game I had my eye on is, and I'm not high on Mississippi State. I don't think I've hidden that at all. But Memphis getting 3.5 at home against Mississippi State.
Yeah, I don't really like Mississippi State all that much either. I like Memphis in this game. Again, 3.5 is so much better of a number than 3, and you're getting a team at home. You're getting a team that is, a little probably upset that they were spurned in this Big 12 deal. And I just don't believe all that much in Mike Leach. Now, the problem with that is Mississippi State probably has better players, and they probably are a little bit better coached. However, I kind of like a home dog in this one, too. So I'm with you. It's a good number to get. Again, obviously you don't get as many as 22.5, but 3.5 having that hook on your side, yeah, not bad at all.
Talking to Alan Bell, and we are talking about some of the plays maybe for this weekend. So let's go local. Alan, Darren was mentioned, the underdogs and how the lines have grown a little bit here. That he mentioned this earlier, that the Seahawks, they've gotten even more of a favorite. They played so well. Titans looked awful. What do you think of the line in that one?
Yeah, so the line has definitely moved towards the Seahawks' favor. What worries me is that Seattle, in the month of September, in home games under Pete Carroll, all right, they've had 18 of them. They've won 17 of them. He's only lost one time at home in September. Oof. So this is it's a good money line play for the Seahawks, but this is where Mike Vrabel and the Titans come alive. They're dangerous when their backs are against the wall. So I would probably take the Titans with the spread. I would probably take the Seahawks to win the game. What worries me also with the Titans is the kicking situation, because when you're looking at a game with 5.5, 6 points, and you don't really have a kicker you can trust, yeah, that can hurt you very, very quickly.
Another thing we've heard is it could be raining. I don't know if that that can't be easy for the kicker, but just come to think of it, as I mentioned that, Alan, how much do you guys look at weather conditions when you research these things?
Yeah, we do. So this has been a fun conversation for about the last year of how do you handicap with weather. Some teams are better, some teams are worse. It depends on the offense. It depends on the style of play. How do teams run the ball? Is it rain? Is it wind? Is it snow? The one that worries me the most is wind. I'm not necessarily worried about rain. I'm not even worried about snow. In fact, in snow games, usually the over hits. But remember, when there's weather, everyone thinks to the offense of how, hey, we can't move the ball. It's not going to look as good. Look, defense has to play in this weather too, and you get turnovers, you get a lot of kind of crazy things that can happen. So more times than not, when weather comes into play, I favor the over as opposed to the under, and let the public bet that number down for you, and they'll give you a point, 1.5, 2 points just based off, kind of premonition. But, yeah, I more times than not, I play the over.
All right, give us, before we let you go, one more NFL game that you like.
I love the Cardinals, all right? You're going to get them 3.5 at home against the Minnesota Vikings. And here is why.
because you saw what the Cardinals did to the Titans. Cardinals defense against the Titans offense. It's the exact same game plan, right? Like you take away Dalvin Cook, and then you get after and you take the play action away from Kirk Cousins. So they don't have to change much at all defensively, and we saw how explosive that offense is with Arizona, especially with Rondale Moore. And then you look at Minnesota, they've got, I think Kendricks is out, Anthony Barr is out. They've got some injuries there. Plus, I think that locker room could implode. They've had some problems. The Cardinals are a really solid bet. Also, I'll give you this really quick. The New Orleans Saints, Carolina Panthers play this weekend. In the last 2 years, when they've played in New Orleans, the Saints have won each game by 3 points. When they've played in Carolina, combined, the Saints have won by 58 points. Carolina, something against the spread at home. They don't play well at all, and New Orleans loves it. So you're getting them at 3.5. That's a great number.
Oh, there's a nifty little stat. I like that. Oh, Alan, where are you headed?
I'm headed to Tunica, so I'm actually driving through Memphis right now. Yeah, I'm going to spend a little sports book and casino time. And you know what? I'm going to make sure that the sports book on the TV puts up our man Chase and which shots that he's taking, so everybody can cash in on those bets.
I think honestly, I've already while we were talking, I already put some money down on Irish car bombs. I already laid a little bit down.
I think you nailed it.
Yeah, Alan, thanks as always. Enjoy Tunica. We'll talk to you soon.
Hey, appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for having me on.
At Alan Bell 247 on Twitter. You should follow him. He's a good follow. He's with Sportsline. Good stuff from him, as always. By the way, guys, speaking of tweets, did you see this one? At Meg B. Hamby. Did you see this?
I haven't. I have not.
Megan says, she tweeted out, I'm just sitting here working in my home office, minding my own business, when I hear a radio show in the other room, and it's my husband putting me on the list for falling asleep while Darren and whatever those guys are named are talking on the
air. Oh, Megan. Well, hi, I'm Willie. That's Chase. That's Julian behind the glass.
Guys. Oh, too funny. So he did that with her in the other room.
I will say this, that can't say that word on air, but that's gutsy, I guess.
Dangerous
gutsy.
Game.
Dangerous game he's playing.
Maybe he wanted his wife to hear that.
Megan, what kind of couch do you have? Because I think that's where your husband might be tonight. It's good, though. Thanks for listening.
Oh,
Darren and the other guys.
That was priceless. Darren and whatever those guys are named are talking on the air. Too funny. Too funny. Good stuff. Good participation, by the way. Last year you got your hands full with trying to figure out who's the winner of that one.
Yeah, that was good.
It was really
good. That's good. I like that. So, speaking of, it was good to have Alan on before Pick 6. I don't know, Darren, how much – I've been looking at college football at the board for the last few days. There are some intriguing games.
Oh, I completely agree. I think there's a lot – I think there's a healthy dose of action this week.
I'll give you one. Charlotte getting 5 on the road at Georgia State. Our buddy Will Healy, 2-0. On the year, going against an 0-2 Georgia State team, and they are getting 5 on the road. I like Charlotte.
Okay.
In that one. Michigan State's intriguing. That came up in silly underdogs. I mentioned Memphis is intriguing, getting the 3.5 against Mississippi State, a home dog there.
Here's one that I was looking at, and it just helped me understand what I'm missing here. There's an 11 a.m. kickoff on ESPN, and it's Cincinnati in Bloomington to take on Indiana. That line is 3.5. Cincinnati is the 8th-ranked team in the country. Cincinnati is loaded with talent. Indiana, are we not just living off last year? Great story last year, but why is that line so low? Like, I just feel like this is one of those that's screaming, it looks like you jump all over Cincinnati, but it smells fishy. I don't know why that line is so low. I get very nervous whenever something looks very fishy. Like it's like begging.
What do they know?
Right. It's almost like they're begging you to take Cincinnati. Because I think Cincinnati should win by double digits.
I do too. I'd bet it.
But what are we missing? Because I just feel like they are dangling that thing out there and going, hey, look at this. Cincinnati just a 3.5-point favorite against Indiana, not ranked.
Well, look at the total. Look at what they have the total at too.
I know, 49.5.
I mean, that kind of tells you something. I took Cincinnati and I got it at 4. So I laid the 4 to take the Bearcats, but
I don't know. That one's very, very.
I'm nervous.
That has me suspicious on why that line is so low. Cincinnati is the better team, and it's almost like they're begging you to take Cincinnati. Just remember that. But you've already told me you've taken Cincinnati.
I took Cincinnati, so maybe I'm the sucker. We'll see. But Ricky's texting me right now and saying that you're spot on, that he brought that up, and he did. He brought it up last night, that there's something fishy about it that concerns him, and he's a Bearcats fan. But, yeah.
I tend to shy away. I usually stay away from those games because at first glance I was like, holy cow, I'm taking Cincinnati. And then I started looking over some stuff, and I was like, why? Okay, why? Why is it just barely over a field goal? Like, Indiana is not the same Indiana team as last year, so why? What am I missing? So here's another one, intriguing. Why is it so low? Like, Florida State has this horrible loss. They're 0-2. Yes, they went back and forth with Notre Dame, but is Notre Dame really that good? I mean, Notre Dame barely beat Toledo at home. And they're only getting 4.5 at a Wake Forest team that is good. So why is that line only 4.5? Why isn't Wake Forest favored by like 7? 7.5.
I kind of look at that as Vegas is thinking what honestly what I'm thinking, and that is Florida State, they got to win. They got to get a win. That they shouldn't be 0-2. They should at least be 1-1 after right now.
After the nightmare.
But they're not. And so they're desperate, and it's like they're going to wake up, and is Wake as good as everybody thinks, or at least they appear right now being at 2-0? That's kind of what I haven't done anything with it, but I was looking at it of, is Florida State the play because they're getting the 4.5, but is this the wake-up game? Do they no pun intended, do they wake up on the road at Wake and get on the board and get a win?
I like Vanderbilt on the points. I like MTSU in the points. 13.5. It's a little steep. I think that's a little steep. I don't think they're going to get boat raced by UTSA. I like the points.
Okay.
I like
That's
the
intriguing.
Points there. I think Memphis is going to beat Mississippi State outright.
I do too. I feel really good about that one.
It's 3.5 they're getting, and I think there's a real shot. You can go the safe play.
I have that one on the money line.
Take Memphis and the points, or you could get a little bit frisky and really increase your odds by taking the money line. Because I think there's a real shot they win that game.
Yeah, I do too. At home. And
I'm also intrigued by Penn State. Why are they giving up 5 to Auburn?
Yeah.
Like, I know it's Saturday night. I know it's going to be crazy at Beaver Stadium, and I know Auburn's been beating up on teams that they should beat up on, but I don't know. Auburn has also looked pretty good. I don't know. I'm going to stay away from it, but if I were to play that game, I would probably do a slight lean toward Auburn.
See, I think Jimmy Frank is going to want to flex because he's in the
that USC job.
He's in the spotlight right now, and he's wanting to flex.
Okay, I can see that.
So that's I go Penn State. I'll lay the 5.
Kind of like Louisiana, who flexed last night.
Mm-hmm.
And -21, no big deal, no problem. No problem. They covered it. All right, we'll come back with Pick 6. But right now, we know Week 1 of the NFL season is over because Week 2 is already underway, and there's a whole lot more action this weekend. And you need to get with DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NFL, because they're going to kick off Week 2 by giving all new customers a can't-miss offer. That should have your attention now, because all you have to do is bet just $1 on any football game this week, and you'll receive $200 in free bets instantly, no matter what. That's right, DraftKings Sportsbook is giving all new customers $200 in free bets instantly when they bet at least just $1. That's all you have to do, at least $1 on any football game. DraftKings is safe, reliable, and secure, making it easy for you to deposit and withdraw your money at your convenience. All you have to do is download that DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code 1025GAME and receive $200 in free bets when you place just a $1 bet on any football game. That promo code you need to use again, 1025GAME. Get your $200 in free bets instantly, but that's this week at DraftKings Sportsbook. There's still time to get involved with this. Be a part of this. $200 they're going to give you for just a $1 bet. Get with DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NFL. Remember, you must be 21 years of age or older. Tennessee only. Restrictions do apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789.
Titans, Seahawks. The Two-Tone Blue seeks a Week 2 victory in hostile territory. Tune in Sunday at 1 for NFL pregame with Jared Stillman, Chris Sanders, and Mark Howard. Live from Corner Pub in Cool Springs. We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobus. Late morning into the afternoon, chance for a few isolated showers and thunderstorms, staying on the non-severe side. High temperatures for you Friday are going to be in the middle 80s with a touch of humidity and will stay just as warm for Saturday and Sunday.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Hillside Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of pills? Well, I have breaking news. Hillside Medical Clinic uses the most proven form of wave technology available, clinically shown by Cambridge to open up and regrow blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED by treating the root cause, call us now, and not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, we'll also include something unique that produces powerful results in the bedroom. You're going to love that. And to those that call in the next 2 minutes, you'll qualify for an extra treatment free. This is an unheard of value worth hundreds of dollars. Call 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Hillside Medical Clinic in the next 2 minutes to qualify for this unprecedented offer. 615-576-5000.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Now's the time to get a great deal on select Kubota compact tractors. Rated #1 for reliability in the under 100 horsepower category, they're designed for easy operation and feature performance-matched attachments. Right now, put 0 down and get 0% APR for 84 months, plus save up to $1,400. Now through December 31st. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
312 Pizza Company is the official sponsor and location of Southeastern Carolines with Caroline Fenton.
Signs First is the official sign company for 1025 The Game. Go to sfnash.com.
Listen up, sports bettors. This is Hall of Famer Warren Sapp here to tell you about my favorite sports book, BetUS.com. I only endorse one sports book, and that's BetUS.com. Just like me, BetUS is the Hall of Famer of online betting with more than 25 years in the biz. You need a sports book with integrity and longevity, and you need to know when you win, you're gonna get paid. You need a sportsbook that offers all the action to make every game feel like the playoffs. Call today at 1-800-69-BET-US. That's 1-800-MY-BET-US, and they will get you set up faster than I can run the 40. Nobody in the industry gives bigger bonuses than BetUS. I play at BetUS, and so should you. Now is your turn. Join now. Call today at 1-800-69-BET-US. That's 1-800-MY-BET-US. My favorite sports book, BetUS.com.
Up to 200% sign-up bonus. Support the station and use code GAME.
Tell them Sapp sent you.
Nashville's best sports talk, locally owned, home of our Nashville Predators. WPRT-FM Pegram, 97.5 Murfreesboro, WBUZ HD2 Laverne, online at thegamenashville.com. We are
ESPN
1025 The Game. Live from the Game Nashville studios, it's time for Darren, Daunic, and Chase. With hosts Darren McFarland, Willie Daunic, and Chase McCabe. On Nashville's best sports talk,
ESPN
102.5 The Game. It's time to be a winner.
I have come here to chew bubble gums and kick ass.
Pick this week's games against the spread for all the bragging rights.
You want some bad enough, then you come get some.
Feeling extra confident?
I'm the one true king.
Make that game your top shelf for double points. This is Pick 6. Now on Darren, Daunic, and Chase.
All right, it's Pick 6 time here on this Friday afternoon. Back here on Darren, Billy, and whoever. Fourth and final hour on this Friday. It is time for you to get involved. You get involved via the phone line, 615-737-1025. That's our phone line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. You will get 2 top shelf picks. 2. You can still play along by going to thegamenashville.com. But you only get 1 top shelf. So there is an advantage. We've been doing this for a couple of years now. People have been taking advantage of getting that extra top shelf. And you can do that with us by getting involved on our phone line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Scrolling through, I don't see our prize this week. Did you guys see it? Anyone? I don't see it.
Let me check.
I do not see the.
Let me check my handy dandy.
Prize. Oh yeah, here we go. I got it. Okay, cool. 3 Doors Down and Seether at Ascend on Saturday, September 25th. Oh, that's coming up next Saturday. All right, pair of tickets. See 3 Doors Down with Seether at Ascend Amphitheater on Saturday, September 25th. Okay, great. All right, Elijah, let's review.
All right, another interesting week last week, and we'll start off over at Neyland Stadium for the Johnny Majors Classic in Knoxville between Pitt and Tennessee. Panthers waltz into Neyland as a 2.5-point favorite, and that's eventually points for Darren and Willie as Tennessee's comeback attempt falls just a little bit short. Chase, his faith in UT does not help him there. Number 2, Cardinals at Titans. Titans obviously get blown out, so not even close to covering 3.5. That will be points for just Darren as Willie and Chase take the Titans in that game. More rushing yards, Kyler Murray or Chase Edmonds, or B, Derrick Henry. Well, if the answer was just Chase Edmonds, it would have been it over Derrick Henry, as even Edmonds outran Derrick Henry. Him and Murray combined easily take that. Points for Darren and Chase. No points for Willie as he top shelved.
Oops. That 0 for 2 on top shelves.
Yes. Now receiving yards. Who will have more between DeAndre Hopkins, A.J. Green, or the dynamic duo of A.J. Brown and Julio Jones? And the answer was an easy DeAndre Hopkins, and I think he almost had that by himself as well, even without the assistance of A.J. Green. So, point for Willie, but no points for Darren and Chase as they both top shelved that. You 3, 0 for 3, and 0 for on top shelves this past week.
Yep.
Hasn't happened in a while. Titans sack totals. A, 2.5 or less for 1 point, or B, 3 or more for 2 points. It was right at 2. So the under will go there. Ironically enough, Chandler Jones had 5 on his own on the other side of the ball. But there's points for all 3 of you. You all went A, not feeling the Titans pass rush. Who is? And then lastly, Seahawks minus 2.5 in Indy. No points for Darren and Willie as they take Carson Wentz and the Colts. Chase, the only one coming out with a point there, as the Seahawks took care of business at Lucas Oil Stadium. So, last week's results alone, Darren with 4 points, Willie with 3, Chase with 3 as well. Takes us to our overall standings, where Darren still holds a small 2-point lead over Chase as he has 8 points, Chase with 6, and then Willie right behind Chase with 5 points going into this week.
Okay. All right, well, that'll get us started for this week.
Yeah.
Number 1.
Let's start with the game over on West End, Saturday night at 7 o'clock. That game will be aired on ESPNU for television purposes, and for radio purposes, Chase, you can hear it where?
You can hear that on 93.3 Classic Hits. That is, we will have that for you.
As you're driving around town, if you're not at the game. Stanford in town, coming off their big win over USC. Vanderbilt at home, hosting, trying to get their first home win of the season, coming off a big win out at Colorado State last Saturday night. The Doors are getting 11.5. Willie, Doors are getting 11.5. Who do you got?
Has that gone down?
It has. Yeah.
Because you picked them in the underdogs for 12.
Yeah, well, we don't do we have a hook, so our hook is down. It's 11.5.
He made it a little juicier by taking it down.
Juicier for who?
Well,
for Stanford, I guess.
For this competition.
Yeah, thank you, Chase.
I mean, why are you even thinking? We know you're going to go Vandy.
What is the big pause? You've already made it abundantly clear where you're going.
I'm just going to be totally honest. I will be impressed if Vanderbilt is right in this game because I don't know. I'm not sure what to expect from Stanford. Long road trip. Don't come this way that often. They did go up to Northwestern a few years ago, I remember. Just hard to know. USC obviously was a mess, so I'm not sure what to read into this. But a Power 5 team that should be quite a bit better than Colorado State. It took everything Vanderbilt had to beat Colorado State. I'll be impressed if they can be right in there. But as usual, I will default and take the Doors and the points.
Chase,
but I'm concerned.
In honor of the future head coach of the Southern Cal Trojans, I will bring one back from the James Franklin days. Who you with? VU. Who you with? VU. That's who I'm with.
Okay.
Me, Vandy.
Stanford had a nice win at USC. I get it. Clay Helton got fired after it. I've watched Stanford. I think they're okay. I don't think they're world. It's not the David Shaw Stanford team with Andrew Luck and but it's just not the same team of 4 years ago. Okay, they're okay. They're not great. It's not Christian McCaffrey in the backfield. They're okay. There's no reason why Vanderbilt should not be in this game. I'm just Stanford is not some world beater Stanford team that we've seen in the past under David Shaw. They're just not. They're okay. It's a nice win against USC. And now they went – so last week they went from Northern California to Southern California, which is not a hop, skip, and a jump. And then they flew back home, and now they're coming across the country to Nashville for a Saturday night tilt. And I don't think there's any reason why Vanderbilt cannot build off last week and make this a game.
So you think Vanderbilt's okay?
Yeah, I do.
I hope you're right. I'm not sure yet.
I mean, why wouldn't they be highly motivated after getting embarrassed at home by ETSU to shell out at home?
I don't think the problem. I don't think the problem is motivation. It's going to be manpower,
execution.
Yeah.
Well, just talent. I just
that's Notre Dame.
We'll see. I hope you're right. I'll be impressed.
We'll see.
I see limitations still.
There's going to be a T-shirt that says "We'll see" -Willie Daunic.
Willie's definitely.
I am really hoping you're right.
Coach mode.
I am really hoping you're right. So. You know what I'm doing. I am wearing my Vanderbilt hat in the Zoom all week next week with Darren's picture over the V if Vanderbilt is victorious. And I'll be glad to do it.
Right now, Darren, he's like, why did he even put this on Pick Six? Like, why is he doing this?
This is crazy. Why are we talking so much? We're going to jinx him. This is bad. This is really bad. I don't know why we're talking about him so much.
I will be at the game. I will be wearing the black and gold. I'm hoping for the best. But I will be impressed.
Lots of coach speak there. All right, here we go. Number 2. LA Rams in Indianapolis. This will not be on Hard Knocks. The Colts are getting 3.5 at home. This is a noon kickoff on Fox. Everybody in this market should be watching that game closely before you get geared up for the Titans game. Willie, who do you got?
I'm going Colts again. I got burned badly last week, but I feel like there's going to be a lot of surprises this week. If they both play like they did last week, it's a runaway for the Rams. They look so good, but I'm going to go the other way. I'm going Colts.
At GPander78 on Twitter,
he wins.
Has sent a GIF of a skeleton and said, "Me waiting for Willie to make his Vanderbilt pick."
That's good.
Chase, who you
Mr.
got?
Pander has had many a good time at my expense on Twitter, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He has.
He
but
has.
that's good.
Yes, he has.
Darren, I am going with the mighty Rams of Los Angeles, and you can go ahead, Elijah, and put a little TS next to that for Top Shelf.
Whoa. Okay. I just have to believe in the NFL. You bounce back. I think they're going to keep it close. I think they probably lose, but it's by a field goal. Typical fashion in the NFL. Everybody's going to be, I think, hammering the Rams. And I think the Colts will cover.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with Indy plus the 3.5 at home.
Number 3.
And while I say that, just real quick. I've already made my pick, so I can't change it. Just see where the money is right now. Just as of right now, the money is
the ever-changing money.
It's probably on the Rams.
It's heavy on the Rams. Okay.
Yep.
Heavy on the Rams. Heavy.
This is an important game because I have top shelved it. I don't know what you're top shelving at, but I go Rams and both of you go Colts. So this is a big one.
Number 3, Titans out in Seattle to take on the Seahawks. We'll need the game total from the listeners. It is a 3:25 kickoff on CBS. The Titans are getting 6.5. Chase.
I will take those 6.5. So thank you, and go Titans.
I, too, will take the 6.5 this week. I took Arizona and the points last week. I think the Titans bounce back. They keep it close. Maybe even pull off the win. I don't know, but they keep it close. They don't get blown out 2 weeks in a row. I'll take the Titans in 6.5. Willie.
I'm really surprised both of you took the Titans, but I'm with you guys. I'm going with the points in the you bounce back. You're a rubber band. Week two. It's got to look like that. If it doesn't, that's not good.
Right now, the money on DraftKings is 60-40 on Seattle. The money. So pretty interesting, right? Pretty interesting. All right.
Number 4.
Who has more receiving yards? Battle of Ole Miss receivers. A, DK Metcalf. B, A.J. Brown. Chase. Who's going to win between the battle of the former Ole Miss receivers?
I think that's going to be fun, even though they won't be on the field at the same time. I'm really looking forward to that matchup. I'm going to take A.J., though. I'll take the Titans' Ole Miss receiver. I think that he makes some big plays, and that yards after catch stuff that he's known to do comes into play. So give me A.J. Brown.
Okay. I've really struggled with this. I changed my mind a lot. I'm nervous. DeAndre Hopkins kind of did what he wanted to do last week. And I know they have Tyler Lockett that they're going to throw to a lot too. But first home game of the year, I think I'm going to have to lean slightly toward DK Metcalf. So I'm taking Metcalf.
I too will take Metcalf.
I mean, they could tie. I know it's
then
everybody
wins.
Everybody gets a point.
Everybody gets a point.
Points all around.
So you took Metcalf as well?
I'm going to take Metcalf.
Okay. All right, hit it, Elijah.
Number 5.
Number 5, Derrick Henry rushing yards. We've talked about it a lot last couple of days on the show. Last year, Derrick Henry was a beast on the road, going for over 100 yards in every road game but one, and it was the final road game of the year in Green Bay on Sunday Night Football. He rushed for 98 yards. So the other 7 road games, he went over 100. His lowest total on the road, pushing aside that Green Bay game, of the games he went over 100, 7 road games, was 112 yards in Cincinnati. So, A, will Derrick Henry have 112 yards or less rushing? That's for a point. Or is it B, he has 113 yards or more for 2 points? I lead things off, and I will go with the – ooh, it's tempting, man. This one is tough again. I'm going to go, and the carrot has been dangled, and I'm going to take the dangling carrot and take B, 113 yards or more.
You just got done with this whole thing about it's more likely that he has a big game because it's on the road, and you get the 2 points on the road if he does well. Sign me up, man. It's the 2. Put up. I'm going 2.
Going 2.
2.
He's going for 2.
Well, you get if you're feeling frisky, go on and top shelf it.
To get 3.
We haven't heard question 6 yet.
Okay. Chaser.
I can't believe after this whole thing that you've done the last 2 days, Darren, with this whole analysis of the road dominance, that you're making the extra point for going 2.
This is what
it's an obvious. I mean, I'm going to blame Darren if I don't get this one right.
But you know what? I'm kind of giving him praise here because this is one of the most difficult questions he's ever done because I actually think Derek gets over 100 yards. But does he get to that one? Is he just over 100 or does he get to 112?
He's got it. If he gets over 100, he's going 113. Also, Michael Rappaport has got Derrick Henry on his fantasy team. He's excited. He's come to Nashville. This needs to go well for him.
This is a big swing week. I'm going A. I think he's just under it. I think he's just under
Number 6.
Number 6. Will the Titans kicker miss an extra point or a field goal? All eyes will be on Randy Bullock this week. Will he miss an extra point or a field goal? A, yes. B, no. I don't even have a clue why I'm saying this. I don't know why. It's probably the stupidest answer ever. For some reason, I'm going B, no, and I don't even know why. And it's probably, like I said, we're going to review next week and be like, that was the dumbest answer ever. But I'm taking no. Willie.
Because of the weather conditions and the difficulty that he's in there, that he inherits, he's jumping in there. There's all kinds of mental baggage to whoever that person is in that uniform. I'm going to say A, he does miss one.
Okay. Chase.
I'm going to say yes. Yes,
he's going to miss one.
So you say yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Willie, your top shelf is?
My top shelf. Wow.
I'm going to go Titans. I'm going to lock in Titans plus 6.5.
Okay.
Yep.
I took the Rams.
Yep. I'll go on and take Titans plus 6.5.
I'll take Metcalf.
Okay.
Metcalf, more receiving yards than Brown.
All right, let's load up the phone line. 615-737-1025. 615-737-1025. Remember, if you lock in your picks via the phone line, which is driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, you're going to get 2 top shelf picks. You can still play along if you don't call in by going to thegamenashville.com. You only get 1 top shelf. But first, Chase, you're going to tell everybody about BetMGM.
I sure am, because it's the perfect way to segue into Pick 6. Talk a little betting. We did that earlier. Got your picks. Go to BetMGM. Kick off the new pro football season with the king of sportsbooks. This is what you need to do if you haven't signed up yet. Sign up with BetMGM using the code 1025GAME, and your first wager is totally risk-free, up to $1,000. Join all the action for the Gridiron Showdowns from Thursday to Monday each week. When you register at BetMGM, you'll get instant access to parlay selection features, live betting options, player props, and daily boosted odds specials on some of the biggest games. From hard-hitting tackles to epic touchdowns, the king of sportsbooks takes every play to a whole new level of excitement. Simply download the BetMGM app, or you can go to BetMGM.com, enter that code 1025GAME, and you'll get back up to $1,000 on your very first wager. Turn game time into showtime with BetMGM. New customer offer, paid and free bets. You must be 21 years or older, must be in Tennessee. Visit BetMGM.com for a full list of terms and conditions. For problem gambling support, call the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789.
Touchdown, Titans! Can Derrick Henry and the Titans get into the win column?
Wilson fires downfield. Lockett. He's got it. Touchdown!
Or will the defense continue to get exposed when they face Russell Wilson? Tune in all day Monday for full reaction to Titans Seahawks.
Talking Titans?
We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Time to tell you once again about Loan Pronto. You hear me giving you this message often. I love doing this because it's a great opportunity for you to save money. Who doesn't want to save money? It's outstanding. LoanPronto.com is the website. It's the home of the zero-cost refi. Here's the deal. Mortgage rates are down. They can get you an APR in the 2s. So if you're higher than that, you need to call them right now at 615-499-5780. Refinancing your home, if you're a homeowner, can put money in your pocket because those interest rates are way down right now. Also, the value of your home is very, very high. Living in this area, it's a booming area. You see the cranes all over town. So if you need cash right now, this is something you may not have considered before. Use your home's equity to get cash out to use to do the project you need, whether it's that credit card bill that you've been trying to pay off or consolidating some debt, or maybe it's to reinvest in your home for a home improvement project. I've certainly done that before. That's available to you right now, and the climate is right. Go to loanpronto.com or call them right now, 615-499-5780. They got a great process. It's all digital. There's very little paperwork, and most loans get done in about 14 days. So in just a couple of weeks, you can be on your way to saving money. That's a good thing. LoanPronto.com, 615-499-5780, or LoanPronto.com. The zero-cost refi, equal housing lender.
NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval. Not all loans eligible for zero-cost option.
More machines, more savings, and more muscle. Only with John Deere construction equipment from Meade Tractor. Hit the heavy jobs harder with our Own It offer and get special financing on select models. New, used, or rent, we have the right equipment and technology solution for you with the affordable financing you need. Contact us today at our Nashville location or go online at meadtractor.com.
Offer valid on qualified purchases and new equipment made between now through October 31st, 2021. Subject to approved installment credit with John Deere Financial for commercial use. Only down payment and required. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
It's soccer season in Tennessee. You want goals?
He takes it inside, outside, right foot, great finish! What a goal!
You want saves?
Lifted high, into the hands of Joe Willis. He makes the catch.
You want big drama?
Put in, it headed in! Delirium! It's Yonder Cadiz!
Nashville SC are back at home Wednesday, September 29th versus Orlando City SC. The action kicks off at 7:30 p.m. Tickets on sale now at NashvilleSC.com.
How'd you like that?
Hey, it's Jared from my friends at Hiller. There's no better time to upgrade your essential home systems than this month with Hiller. They're offering credits for your old home systems. Trade in your old HVAC unit and earn up to $1,500 in credits towards a select new system. Upgrade from a standard water heater to a tankless water heater and earn up to $500 with your trade. Trade up to a new electrical panel and earn up to $500 in credits for your old one. Their work is backed by the Happy You'll Be or Services Free guarantee. Their technicians are continuing to take measures to keep you and your family safe and healthy on every single call. Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, proud sponsors of the Nashville Predators, Vanderbilt, and the Tennessee Volunteers.
With all the new people moving here recently, we thought it'd be a good idea to explain Genesis Diamonds. If you've lived here a while, you know all this, so bear with us. Genesis Diamonds is not an ordinary jewelry store. It was started decades ago by a major diamond wholesaler based in Tel Aviv. He was the diamond supplier for hundreds of upscale jewelry stores. Then he decided to start selling direct to the public at prices that undercut traditional jewelers in a big way. This no middleman approach caught on fast and disrupted the traditional jewelry business model forever. Today, Genesis Diamonds continues that extraordinary value promise. With the highest quality diamonds, the lowest prices, the strongest guarantees, exceptional service, and a mind-blowing selection of fine diamonds and exclusive designer jewelry. So if you've just moved here from New York or California or wherever, we invite you to discover the secret the locals are well aware of. Genesis Diamonds. Just another great reason you made the move to this extraordinary place we're proud to call home.
Hi, golfing friends. We're here to tell you about the 54-year anniversary membership special at Oak Hills Golf Course in Greenbrier. For only $89 a year with a $10 per year admin fee, you can get a 2-year anniversary membership at Oak Hills and enjoy unlimited golf from Monday through Sunday. Call Oak Hills Golf Course today to respond to this special offer before it's over. To get your $89 membership today, go to oakhillsgolfcoursetn.com or call 615-643-4505.
Tonight, the Nashville Sounds continue their play within the Southeast Division when they visit the Gwinnett Stripers. Coverage begins at 5:50 on ESPN 94.9 and the Game Nashville app.
this is Philip Forsberg. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
All right, it's pick six time. Mike Vrabel just now saying to the media after practice that no Caleb Farley this week. No Caleb Farley in Seattle against the Seahawks. Back here on Darren, Daunic, and Chase, presented by Curation CBD. Curation CBD products curated for life.
What is the injury? Did we know?
I don't know.
Is it related to the back or anything like that?
According to Joe Rexrode, it's sciatica.
Don't know.
Sciatica.
Yeah, it's
better known as sciatica.
It's their running joke.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's not good.
No.
James Neal joining the Blues on a professional tryout.
Ooh. In the division.
615-737-1025 is our phone line, driven by Wilson County Hyundai.com. Let's go to the phones. Let's start in South Carolina. Chris, you're first up.
Yes, sir. I love the show, guys. I'm in South Carolina, but I'm from Tennessee and Kentucky originally, so I still listen to you guys' show. Great show and great station.
We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. All right, let's start it off on West End. Stanford at Vanderbilt. Vandy getting 11.5.
Actually, I'm going to take Stanford in that, and, the points, 11.5, I'll take Stanford.
Okay. Rams at the Colts. Colts plus 3.5.
I think I'm going with the Rams, and I'm also going to I thought I'd do Top Chef. I think I'll wait on it, but I will take Rams over Colts.
Okay. Titans on the road at Seattle. Seattle minus 6.5. Also need the game total.
Okay, I will take Seattle minus the 6.5. I just think the Titans will not giving up on them yet, but it's a hard place to win. I will take the Seahawks. I will make that a Top Shelf, and I'm going to put the game total at 54.
All righty. More receiving yards, A, DK Metcalf, or B, A.J. Brown?
We'll go with Metcalf because I think the Titans are going to try to target Julio Jones more this week.
Derrick Henry rushing yards, A, which is 112 or less, which is worth a point, or B, 113 or more, which is worth 2 points?
I'll go with A on that one.
All right. Will the Titans kicker miss an extra point or a field goal? Yes or no?
I'm going yes. It sounds like I'm not much of a Titans fan, but I just don't think they're ready for this game. So I will go A, that he will miss at least a PAT or a field goal.
And one more Top Shelf. You get two as a caller.
Okay. That last one, the kicker missing an extra point or field goal, will be my second Top Shelf.
All right. Chris, good luck.
Yeah, thank you, Chris.
Thank you, guys. Love your show.
Appreciate it. All right. We got a call from California and a call from South Carolina today. Love it. Absolutely love it. 615-737-1025. Back to our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Shannon, you're up next.
What's going on, folks?
All right, Shannon. Stanford at Vandy. Vandy getting 11.5.
Stanford, Top Shelf.
Oh, Rams at the Colts. Colts plus 3.5.
Rams.
Titans at the Seahawks. Seahawks minus 6.5. Also need the game total.
I'm taking the Titans. 53 game total.
More receiving yards, DK Metcalf or A.J. Brown?
DK.
Derrick Henry rushing yards, 112 or less worth a point, or 113 or more worth 2 points?
I'll take B, Top Shelf.
Will the Titans kicker miss a PAT or a field goal?
Yes.
And then second Top Shelf.
Is the Derrick Henry over 113?
Okay, you had two? You had two Top Shelves?
And the Stanford.
Oh, Stanford,
over.
That's right. Yep.
Yes.
Cool. All right.
Okay, thank you, Shannon. So people are going with Stanford.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, let's go to Josh. You're up next. Welcome into Pick Six.
Hey, how y'all guys doing?
Doing well, Josh. Let's see if you're a winner. Stanford taking on the Commodores, Vandy plus 11.5.
Give me Vandy. I don't think Stanford's all that.
Does not believe in the Cardinal. L.A. Rams at the Colts. Colts plus 3.5.
L.A. top shelf.
Titans at the Seahawks. Seahawks minus 6.5. Also need the game total.
Let me get the Titans and game total 59.
More receiving yards, DK Metcalf or A.J. Brown?
A.J. Brown.
Derrick Henry rushing yards, 112 or less, which is worth a point, 113 or more, which is worth 2.
113 or more, top shelf.
All right, there's the second top shelf. Will the Titans kicker miss an extra point or a field goal? Yes or no?
No.
He says no.
Got both top shelves?
Yep.
All right. Josh, good luck. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. Y'all too.
615-737-1025. 615-737-1025. That's how you get in and be a part of Pick 6. Let's go to Michael. Michael, you're up next. Welcome in.
All right, Michael. Stanford taking on Vandy. Vandy plus 11.5.
I go with Stanford.
Rams at the Colts. Colts plus 3.5.
I'll go with Rams.
Titans at the Seahawks. Seahawks minus 6.5. Also need the game total.
I'll take the Titans. Game total. Game total 48.
All right. More receiving yards, DK Metcalf or A.J. Brown?
A.J. Brown.
Derrick Henry rushing yards, 112 or less for a point, 113 or more for 2.
113.
Will the Titans kicker miss an extra point or a field goal?
No.
And then
need a couple top shelves.
I take the Titans double top shelf.
Ooh.
Double
top shelf on the Titans. Okay. Michael, good luck. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Let's go to, one phone line, 615-737-1025. Let's go back to our phone line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Todd, welcome into Pick 6.
Hey, how are you?
Doing well. All right, Todd. The Cardinal of Stanford at the Commodores of Vanderbilt. Vandy getting 11.5.
I'm going to definitely take Vandy with the points there.
L.A. Rams at the Indy Colts. Colts plus 3.5.
Rams.
Titans at the Seahawks. Seahawks laying the 6.5. Also need the game total.
I'm going to have to go Seahawks, unfortunately, but we'll say 41.
All right. More receiving yards. DeKalin Zacharias Metcalf or Arthur Juan Brown?
I'll go with DK there.
All right. DK, Derrick Henry rushing yards, 112 or less for a point, 113 or more for 2 points.
I'll go the 2 points.
Will the Titans kicker, Randy Bullock, miss an extra point or a field goal? Yes or no?
No, and you can double top shelf that one.
Oh,
I know, random.
Double top shelfing the kicker question? Wow.
In the rain.
I have faith.
Okay.
Wow.
Nice game.
Todd,
Man.
coming in hot. I like it.
And by the way, the double top shelf is no. The kicker will not make a mistake. Yikes. Wow. Okay. Todd, appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
All right. Hey, you guys do the same.
Wow. Double top. I did not expect a double. I mean, no is not, that's not crazy. I went with no, but double top shelf? No?
Gutsy.
By the way, did everybody take the Rams? I don't remember a Colts
no.
pick.
I didn't.
No, I'm
I
saying
took
the
the
listeners. Did they all take the Rams?
I didn't hear one. I have to go back and review the tape because of phone duty. But all the ones I heard and marked down were all Rams.
Interesting.
By the way, I went back and looked at the injury report since Caleb Farley was on it yesterday. He's listed with a shoulder.
Shoulder. Okay, so it's not related to the back. That would in some ways I guess that's good. But when did he get hurt? In the garbage time did he get in there?
I don't know.
In the game? I don't know that he would have been a big part of this game plan anyway, but so I'm more thinking long-term with him.
Maybe they are too. Maybe that's why they're shutting him down. I don't know.
Will we see Chris Jackson in this game?
I don't think they're going to have much of a choice, are they?
But he didn't play last week.
No, he was out last week.
I haven't seen.
I've been looking for the updated injury report, but I don't think it's. They're just wrapping up interviews.
I was going to say, I didn't see any where Mike Vrabel said anybody else was out. Did you?
No.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Michael Pruitt did speak today now that he's on the active roster. We saw him last week.
See, I think it says something that they brought him back. I think they really like his blocking, but what does that do to the formations they want to run? How often? We've been saying it a lot. What's going to end up being the bread and butter formation?
I mean,
honestly,
honestly,
two tight ends? Is it Pruitt as one guy, Ferks as the other? It worked pretty well.
I would think so, because here's the thing: Pruitt can block. He can also catch the ball.
He can catch just well enough.
Yeah,
just well enough to to keep you honest.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah. He's not a big threat like Ferkser. Sorry,
right? Completely different type of player.
Yeah,
Ferkser is not a blocker. Yeah, Jonnu is another unique skill set for sure that they utilized so well last year. So this is again the philosophical discussion that we discussed for weeks in the offseason, and that is it was forced to change some because you bring in Julio Jones.
Yeah, and
you're changing your offensive coordinator, and you can't just come back and run all of the same plays that you ran last year. So can they settle into that bread and butter identity that they want to keep with some of the new pieces they've got in there? It clearly was an F last week. They failed the first test.
They did. We'll come back. We'll get our best shots of the week. We always have fun with that. Wrapping things up on Friday. We'll discuss this a little bit more on the other side, but right now I'm going to discuss my friends at Cool Springs MD. You've heard me talk about them for years. You've heard the message. Some of you have taken advantage of that. You understand what I'm talking about. You understand about improving your quality of life. You understand about becoming healthier and happier. And if you haven't tried them, you should. They do a lot of things under one roof. It's a state-of-the-art facility out there in Cool Springs at 1642 Westgate Circle. They take weight loss management very serious, and maybe right now you would like to shed some unwanted pounds. Well, they've got you. They've got programs and products and people that can get you back on track, headed in the right direction ASAP. Rejuvenation. Your appearance should always be important. It's important to me, but it gets tougher as we age. They'll be more than happy. Their experienced staff will sit down with you, talk about PRP, hair removal, Botox, and hormone therapy is another thing that they can address. Maybe you've been feeling off lately. You haven't felt like yourself. You've been maybe sluggish, haven't had any energy or any drive to you, or maybe even had mood swings, and you're like, what the heck is going on? Well, get in there and talk to Dr. Jeffrey Lodge or Daphne or their experienced staff about BHRT, testosterone, estrogen. They do it all, and they do it all under one roof. If you need to schedule an appointment or a consultation, pick up the phone and dial this number, 615-283-7291. That's 283-7291. Or you can always go to their website and learn everything about them. And you go to CoolSpringsMD.com.
Titans, Seahawks. The Two-Tone Blues seeks a Week 2 victory in hostile territory. Tune in Sunday at 1 for NFL pregame with Jared Stillman, Chris Sanders, and Mark Howard. Live from Corner Pub in Cool Springs. We are Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Biggest game this Sunday, Chiefs-Ravens, and FanDuel Sportsbook is about to make it even bigger. Hey, everybody, Joe Rex showed here to let you know that FanDuel is giving new customers 30-1 odds on either of those teams to win. That means you can end the weekend right by winning $150 on a $5 bet. Look, I'm big on the Chiefs. I know that that's kind of cliche, but they bounced back against the Browns. The Ravens are really banged up. I like the Chiefs. You do what you want. Just make sure you do it on the #1 rated sportsbook app in America. FanDuel Sportsbook, easy to use, safe and secure. fast payouts. It's betting made simple. See for yourself why it's America's #1 sportsbook. Sign up with promo code Joe102 this Sunday before the Chiefs take on the Ravens. You could win $150 on a $5 bet. Remember, promo code Joe102 so they know I sent you. Exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $150. Bonus for Tennessee users fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobus. Late morning into the afternoon, chance for a few isolated showers and thunderstorms, staying on the non-severe side. High temperatures for your Friday are going to be in the middle 80s with a touch of humidity and will stay just as warm for Saturday and Sunday.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Hey, mortgage rates have taken a nosedive, back to the lowest in history. Don't miss your chance to lock in a lower house payment with Loan Pronto now. Hey, it's Willie Daunic. Call Loan Pronto today and take advantage of their super popular zero-cost refi program. You can get a rate with an APR in the low 2s with no junk fees and no closing costs. Yes, they pay your closing costs. Who else does this? Loan Pronto's all-digital process is fast and easy. Virtually no paperwork required, and most loans get closed in 14 days. And if you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Think about that little bonus. Call Loan Pronto now and start the process before rates spike again. Get your forever loan today. 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. If your current mortgage rate starts with a 3, you need to act now. 615-499-5780, loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval. Not all loans eligible for zero-cost option.
Paul Feinbaum here for the Southeast leader for cranes and equipment rental, CraneWorks. The CraneWorks team in Nashville, Birmingham, and Mobile is ready to make your next construction or maintenance project a big success. Give CraneWorks a call for your next lift, machinery moving, or rigging project. And don't forget, RentalWorks has a full line of rental equipment for jobs both big and small, and now offering qualified operators for all equipment, including aerial and earth-moving equipment. Call CraneWorks at 877-282-LIFT or visit them on the web at craneworks.com.
Bring everything up to speed with the Novatech Managed Office. Novatech's Managed Office portfolio consists of 4 key pillars that provide a unique, holistic approach to business technology, bringing together hardware, software, and services for IT, print, cloud, and security. Novatech's mantra: get it all, get it right, and get it now. From a technology partner you can trust. Let Novatech manage your business technology so you can focus on what matters most, your business. Learn more about the Novatech Managed Office and request a free Office X-ray technology assessment at novatech.net. That's novatech.net.
Robbie Stanley.
Maybe it doesn't hurt their bottom line this year. I don't know what's going to happen on that front.
Joe Rexrode.
5 guys who are on the roster are not going to be on the roster.
Get your morning started with Robbie and Rexrode every weekday from 6 to 10. Presented by Volunteer State Bank on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app. If you've missed any of today's show, just search Darren, Daunic, and Chase on Apple, Spotify, or on your favorite podcast platform.
Hey, do you want to win a pair of tickets to see the Rolling Stones at Nissan Stadium? Well, yeah, of course you do. That's going to be Saturday, October 9th. All you have to do is head over to YouTube and subscribe to 102.5 The Game's YouTube page. That's all you have to do. And you'll automatically be entered in for your chance to see the Rolling Stones. One winner will be chosen, and that'll be on Monday, September 20th. So you've got until this Monday. Well, a winner will be chosen on Monday. Also, if you're looking for a place to hang on Sunday before the Titans game out in Seattle, well, we've got your place for you. It's Corner Pub in Cool Springs. This Sunday, our pregame show will be out there. You can sit there, you can hang out with them, listen to their analysis, have a nice meal, have a couple of drinks. That'll be from 1 until 3 p.m. Like I said, a Corner Pub in Cool Springs, which is 9200 Carruthers Parkway. And then, once that's over, just hang out and watch the Titans try to beat Seattle. Be a great place to do it. The NFL pregame show is brought to you by TriStar Moving, Parman Tractor and Equipment, FreedomTireGuys.com, FanDuel, E2 Roofing, Hillside Medical, Social Furniture, and Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. Back here on Darren, Daunic, and Chase, I was reading this tweet during the break at Cisco1409. Tweets at us and says, "That was the best. You just made the list ever. Do you think it was intentional for her to hear it?"
I kind of think so. I think he did that on purpose.
He Nick Saban'd her.
Yeah, Megan, his wife, tweeted into us and told us that she was sitting there working from her home office, minding her own business, when she heard a radio show in the other room putting her on the list, and that was her husband. It's fantastic. Fantastic stuff. All right, before we get out of here, let's get in our best shots of the week.
It's a chicken bleep way to go about it, especially for a guy like Taylor Lewan. It's a chicken bleep way to go about it.
Yep.
You did a very short, controlled message on your end, and you're not getting an attaboy from me. If the fans or other media members want to give you an attaboy, Taylor, you can do that all you want. It's a chicken bleep move for a guy that has a big personality, a guy that they call dad, a guy who's been willing to fall on the sword, a guy who's willing to tell it like it is, and then you go run to Twitter to do that little message after the game? No. That's a chicken bleep way to go about it.
Talking to Vanderbilt head coach Clark Lee.
Well, I don't know for us that it could have happened any differently. We needed that adversity, because the whole message in the week was, we have to find the fighting spirit. We can't let the scoreboard dictate to us what our effort level is. And truthfully, to be fair to these players, I mean, they have shown up with energy and enthusiasm and spirit every day. They've filled a lot of long workouts in the summer and in the weight room, and it's not like we're blaring music down there. I mean, they're making their own noise. They have it in them. It just, the first game, what we learned was there's a psychological hurdle to, battling the adversity the scoreboard reflects.
But you don't have to do anything right away. Now, when you get into November, that's when things will heat up, because you're towards the end of the season and you can play this fantasy game of whoever the interim coach is actually getting a legitimate look, and maybe he's going to be the guy to get the job when we all know that's not true. But they play that little game of, we're going to give coach so-and-so, we're going to give him a chance to earn the job. Yeah, you didn't
evaluate at the end of the season.
Right, you didn't hire Ed Orgeron, and I think you should have, and you didn't. So you're not going to do that here. We're talking to Paul Feinbaum, SEC Network, and ESPN.
Well, I think, and I'm sure you guys chuckled yesterday when you heard James Franklin inane non-denial denial. I don't even know what he said. Do you? I mean, he said, my name's out. A lot of conversation out there. And I want to meet with my leadership council and make sure they understand what's going on here. He never denied it. Luke Fickell denied it. And by the way, it's so easy when you're asked, have you been contacted? The answer is no. I haven't been contacted. I have a job. I'm only concerned about whatever the game is this week. And we all know by now you don't contact coaches. You contact agents. So you always give coaches cover. So I never pay any attention. But Franklin didn't even try that. I mean, he just went into a James Franklin-like diatribe. And I think he wants the job, and I think he'll be the first call they make.
Talking to John Clayton.
Well, I think that you can see that the preseason stuff and the preseason games are starting to work to a point where at some point they're going to have to be eliminated, because, again, it's like you get injuries and you suffer the injuries and all that stuff, but you need to get on the field just to try to test out things, particularly if you have a coaching change, if you have a lot of changes on your offense, your defense, and all those different things. But there was it was weird because in the first week of the preseason, 522 players did not play. In week 2 it was 565, and then in week 3 it was 591. And so more and more each week, less players played and less starters played. And so it's like, but then you go up and down and look at the list, because I was just going through this yesterday, is that a lot of the teams that didn't play their starters came out and lost the first week.
That's an interesting stat. So how many? There's 13 that were drafted originally, but only 4 are with the team that drafted them. So there's a bunch of guys, a bunch of teams who obviously drafted a kicker, then cut them, or release them, whatever.
Well, there'll be 9 teams.
So 9 teams drafted a kicker, said, you know what, we wasted the draft pick on this guy, he's no good, only to see that guy go on to another team and make it.
Yeah,
That's
that
an
was just
interesting
this year.
point.
You still have your Nick Folks, who did play for a couple of years for that team, but usually no more than that. And then this is one of the most interesting ones. 3 of the kickers that were drafted that kicked on Sunday never kicked or appeared in a game for the team that drafted them. Harrison Butker, Dustin Hopkins, Jake Elliott. Were all drafted and never played for the teams that
I feel
drafted
like we're learning something
in
here.
the league.
I feel like we're learning something.
Chris, who do you have on Friday?
We have Father Ryan.
Okay.
It's going to be a good game, man. Excited. You going to be there?
No.
Hell no!
I'll be there in spirit.
Hey, I got some good news for you.
What's that? That's how Forever Titan Chris Sanders ended Silly Underdogs yesterday.
That was a walk-off. That was awesome.
Who do they have tonight? They've got
Father Ryan.
Yeah. Should be a good one. By the way, it's been raining a lot here, so
It's raining here at the radio station.
maybe
It's going to be raining on and off all
I was
weekend.
gonna
Looks
say,
like.
maybe a wet one for some football teams tonight, maybe. We'll see.
Yep.
Guys, that will do it for our show today. Good week of shows.
Fun week.
Fun week. We'll have tons to discuss on Monday. We'll see how it all shakes out this weekend. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend. Continue to be safe. We want you back with us to start the week on Monday morning at 10 a.m. We shall see you then. Stay tuned. Stillman & Company is next.
Your speaker at home is so smart,